Warning! This video contains adult content not suitable for children.
What's up? It's the Kokomo Press Podcast. I'm Jordan Granger. I'm joined as always by my co-host.
I'm Jordan Bell, and we have a very special guest today. This is Shane Cowsert, owner and operator of AACW. If you don't know what AACW is, go back to previous episodes. I talk about it a lot because, you know.
You gotta know.
Yeah.
You gotta know. It's on the hat, too. It's like on the beans.
Yes. But very special guy, at least in my life, because gave me a start and got me out of my shell. So, what's up, man?
How you doing?
Hey, man, it didn't take much to break that shell because you was just ready to you were ready to, what do they call it, like...
Bloom.
He was ready to pop up and bloom, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm very pleased to be here. Unfortunately, I'm kind of a little bit discouraged on, you know, being a tell-in to one of the guests and stuff like that. But it's all in love. Everything's good. I understand it. I mean, we could never come together.
Yeah.
You had me on earlier in something, we actually talked about it to come into an earlier episode.
Yeah.
And it never.
Yeah, the problem is we both book
them.
them. And, like, half the time he books them, half the time I book them.
And
so sometimes I'll have a couple,
Yeah.
where it kind of makes it hard for him to figure them out. Or, like, we'll be talking about somebody, and then he'll be like, all right. And they'll have somebody else like you in mind, maybe. And then I hit somebody else up first, and he's like, you already scheduled. And I'm like, my bad. We're going to get him in here before the end of this is only the first season. This is the first season. We're getting ready to
But
close
it's all
the season
good
out.
because, I mean, I guess I dropped the ball, too, because I had an opportunity to bring the Harvest Fest and what you do with the AACW together, and we could never get together because I was on an alternative work schedule, and I couldn't get together to go see out the area that we needed and stuff like that. But, you know, I mean, hey.
Harvest Fest is cool. It's a good thing. Every single year, like it's a really cool vibe because there's like metal and punk and shock bands and like just great stuff going on. We shot we were trying to shoot part of the show last year, so we did a little bit there. It's always a big weekend every year.
Right, yeah.
Harvest Fest is a fun vibe. I argue to say though, it has been it took us a minute to get you on, but production value is so much better. So. You know, you're better off for it now.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I mean, it's all love, man. It's all love. I mean, you know, you kind of know how I feel about you, man. You know what I mean? Because, you know, AACW has been a staple since, 14. When I started running one show in 14. I actually ran one show in 14. And in 15, I had an opportunity to run at a little bar here in town that was called Center Stage.
Yeah.
And ran a few shows, I think like 3 or 4 there. At the time, you know, my father was basically, you know, he was going through some situation with dementia and stuff. And I mean, you know how special that story is with everything that's going on there, and kind of go a little bit into the background. At Center Stage, man, it was like, I think it was like the second or third show, because I had slated 6 shows for AACW that year. And basically what happened was, you know, I mean, they all didn't happen because we had some scheduling conflicts with, you know, the people that own the business over there.
Life happens.
And and so, but the one actual match that, you know, I mean, like set us off that really brought some stuff back was actually, you know, it was me building the main event against Troy Miller. And as you see, this past show, if you wasn't at this past show after 29 years, like 6 months less of 29 years, I have to now, basically, I can't be a in-ring competitor.
Yeah.
Because Jordan basically had some guys that pulled the
marvelous
strings and pulled
Mr.
some
Bell,
stuff
the
that
curator
made me
of
actually
chaos,
lose my career.
Curator of culture.
Yes. We'll get into that a little bit later, but
I mean, it's a cutthroat business, but it's all love. So
going back to that story, man, Troy, you know, I mean, we had a chance to work a main event that was special to me, man, because, you know, I mean, at that point in time, we was an upstart company, and it was, you know, bringing the best talent at that time, and I'd started in the business the same time around, you know, me and Troy was around the same area.
Yeah.
And I got my start in 92, in June of 92. And, you know, to call in and try to start the company, you want to try to bring something that has a little bit of history, which was Troy and myself. brought him in to do the main event and stuff like that with me, and it was so fire, man, because like my father was, completely ate up with cancer on the inside of his body, and we knew nothing about that because he had suffered from dementia and stuff like that. But yet, he was out there, like Troy was bringing the heat, man, like really bringing the heat, and we're working the crowd, and it's like we're going at it, and Troy's like, bro, as guys do, I'm giving away a little bit of secrets of professional wrestling, but guys have to communicate. So we're going back and forth, and Troy's like, bro, we gotta go home. They're getting ready to riot in here. And looking back at not believing until I actually seen photos of my pops standing up, ready to grab a hold of him and like do something physical to him because he's beating my ass, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's a part of the business that you love because
it means it looked real.
Yeah, he did, and we had family that was telling my dad, hey, sit down, Earl, and he's like, fuck you, we don't, it's like, and he's just going on, but the guys always said, man, my pops, it was easy for them guys to get heat off of him because it's just like one little thing could trigger him, and he just either loved you or hated you, man, and it was great because these guys that are in the business now that work for my promotion, I wish that they could have actually experienced some of that stuff because that's true wrestling. What the history of wrestling's been like, bro. Yeah. Because it's like going to the armory, man, and you're worried about the lady in the front row with, with a cane that's going to knock the shit out of you, and that was my father, bro. Yeah. Not the old lady, but he was the old man in the front row that was going to sit there and flip you off and swing the cane at you when you walk down. And I guarantee you. You would have had that cane across your head and around. Yes. Probably you would have been. I love it. You would have been hit with. Oh man. You would have been hit with everything, every possible place. He probably would have fired that up.
They do hate you. When I was there for the clown fight, man, you were getting a lot of hate. And then the next one, you threw like raisins at the crowd. Raisins.
Yeah. Someone needs some raisins, man. Too many Twinkies and ho-hos, man. I'm just saying, just life choices. He's a good heel,
just a natural heel,
Right. Laying all jokes aside, man, that was one of the best decisions that I'd done, basically, by giving him the freedom to kind of open up and be somebody that he can't be every day, because in wrestling, that's what you can. You can take your personality in everyday life, but you can't be that person every day, because if you was that person, and like that total person that you are at the AACW shows, people would react a different way. So you have to tone it down a little bit.
Social media, when you see some of his posts,
I try. I try as much as I can. Like it's a really weird thing. Like we joked about history earlier, and I said that like there's no history's gone or whatever. But I was just joking because like everything.
I hope so.
Because everything I've been trying to do is, as far as like pulling in a character, it's pulling in from history, pulling in from the Heenans, pulling in from the Jimmy Harts, pulling in from
that's how it should be, because when you actually think about trying to develop a character, you take from like the people that path away for you, and you kind of like put everybody from like your influences, you put all that stuff together, and you kind of like roll it together and try to create your own self, your own image, and that right there, when you get the final product, which I don't think you're there yet, you're still working on it. Yeah. But the thing about it is, man, like it really touches me right here, because if you hear with some of the speeches and stuff that I give, in the back and talk to the guys when they come in, I talk about belief and opportunity. Yeah. And that's what it was for me when I first started, is somebody to believe in you and give you the opportunity to make you, create. And that's what this business is all about. That's what it's been for me for almost 30 years.
Yeah.
30
years next year, right?
Yeah, it would have been 30. It would have been 30 years in June. So from 92.
Because you said 92, and I'm like, next year's 22. I'm like,
so I kind of done the math, knowing that I was coming on the show, because I was doing the math last night on the way home from Pacer game. And
did you enjoy that Pacer game?
Yeah, me and my sister's been season tickets for
I was trying to win tickets last night. Years. I was talking to my girl, because like there's this guy who covers the Pacers, Alex Golden. Shout out to him on Twitter. He's great. He gives away tickets all the time because he covers them for like his thing. And I missed the tickets by like this much on the wheel. I was so mad. But we were gonna go last night to see that game. I'm wearing the Pacers.
Right, yeah, and that was a good one. Definitely, it was, because like they got they got a lot of talent on that team, man, and not knowing why they're like in a shit spin with what's going on.
They have had the hardest road schedule, back-to-back schedule of any team in the entire NBA this season so far. They are just now getting to the stretch where they're playing home games. They've been playing mostly road games. And they've had the hardest schedule in the season road game wise. I mean, they've played everybody who's been good. So I'm like, I was looking at that up last night. I'm like, they're finally getting a stretch right now. They will not play another road stretch like they've been playing until 2022. So the rest of November, all of December, they're going to have a bunch of home games. I think they're going to do a lot better.
I took a lot of heat because everybody's like, Pacers suck. And I'm like, look, they got a coach now. They got a coach now with Rick Carlisle. Bringing him back was a big move.
Yeah.
He's got he's got a championship criteria. They won it with the Dallas Mavericks after, he was always a good coach.
He should have won it in Indiana.
They fired him right before after it was, they brought Larry Bird in and then.
Sorry.
He was the Malice at the Palace coach, right?
Yeah.
So that's why.
No, he was there when Bird was around the franchise.
Oh well, yeah, Bird was running things, but then he took over as that's when Bird won coach.
Bird did so much bad. Bird was not a front office guy. Should not be a front office guy.
He's just too much of a basketball purist. He didn't see the future of basketball.
I know.
He's just too old head.
Well, he's old school.
Yeah, exactly. He's old.
Some people get a lot of heat when they're old school.
Old school's cool, man, but you gotta see you gotta see the progression of where things were going to. He missed opportunities to bring in not big names, but good talent, at reasonable prices.
But the thing about it, bro, when Bird was there, basically the Pacers had their championship.
They did.
When they had their championship with Reggie, if the NBA wouldn't have put together a dynasty with Kobe and Shaq, bro. Think about that. Because that year when we made the finals, that was Shaq and Kobe together as a dynasty.
Yeah.
That was our chance. That was Reggie's chance. And I still say that if Jalen Rose would have been starting and not Chris Mullin, things would have been different.
Yeah.
I have my firm beliefs, man, but, Reggie and Jalen done special things together. And Mark Jackson, one of the best, to me, is the best point guard that the Indiana Pacers has ever had in history.
They had to change their rules because of him. He would just turn his back to the fucking basket and back a person down for 20 minutes because you couldn't handle him because he was so strong and bulky.
The NBA the NBA don't like Indiana because look, they shit on Reggie by the year they wanted to bring Shaq and Kobe together. Boom, Reggie don't get his title because it is what it is. But then look. Later on, we have the best team in the NBA with Ron Artest. With
the 15-year anniversary was yesterday. Is that what it was?
I think it was like 17, maybe
17. I know there was just an anniversary for a few days ago because it popped up on my because I posted.
And if you haven't check the documentary out on Netflix, you need to check that out because exactly. But the thing
you feel really bad for Meta, Ron Artest, but Meta World Peace. You feel really bad after you watch it because he was going through some mental things and there really wasn't any system in the NBA that would help the guy, and he got to the point where he was basically getting beat up by people in the crowd, or he got that drink thrown at him. And he was like, you know what, I'm snapped, and he went up there.
It's not worth it.
Well,
and then they made it all about the players being thugs. Instead of the fact that it was
you have the reason why that happened. Okay, the reason why is because the referees were dicking around, not doing what they should have done. Ben Wallace, it was you have different things happen that comes in. Ron's over there, not for granted that he laid down on the scores table. That's something you really don't do, but he was out away from everything. But why are they
also
taking?
A wrestling guy.
It's
so that's why you lay on the score table.
The thing about it is, man, it's a blowout. It's a blowout game. Why are you taking so long to try to figure out what's going on with seconds left to go that they can't come back and they're going to win the game?
And you have to feel the room, like you guys were saying earlier. You can feel the room.
You can feel the
if
intensity,
you know people,
bro.
like you as a person who's been an entertainer and a sports entertainer, and somebody who's been in front of a crowd, same as you. And I've been in front of a crowd with music and stuff. I've always have. You can feel a room.
Yeah.
And if you can't, then you shouldn't be up there because you have to. And it's something you have to learn. So that's why you start small. You give them small roles. Oh, you can do this for a while, and then once you start to feel the crowd and you know where they're going, you can control them. You know what I mean? It's like when we were talking when we did have a wrestler on the podcast when we had Chris on. We talked about the what. Giving the crowd a chance to do the what and giving them a beat so that you're making it a dance together. And you're giving them a chance.
But you remember that, when I break things down and I talk to guys, because I like to talk.
Yeah.
And when I talk to everybody, when I break it down and you guys are all sitting there working out and doing your practice and stuff like that, I'm like, everything starts out here.
Yeah.
And then by the end of the match, like literally, you want the fans to be where you're at in the center of the ring.
Yeah.
And that's how I kind of justify stuff.
That's
like
a
a lot of people never, like, that's stuff that people can't teach you. That's stuff that you have to like gain on yourself and like get, you have to judge and you have to gauge stuff because I mean all that stuff comes to you when you think about it. Like I went through so many years, bro. When I started out, like in '92, bro, I started out and I was working as the executioner under a hood. I was the BBOW, Johnny Osborne. I love you, brother. You give me my start. You give me my opportunity in this business. I was a hooded wrestler, man. Black tights, black hood. Everything. I mean, come out with a hangman's noose and shit like that. Basically. I was the rub guy, man. I was the guy that put everybody over because, it was 7 years, bro, until I got my first win. 7 years. Yeah. One day making out the card, he's making out the card, going over and he's like, I'm looking at it. I'm like, when am I ever going to win? He's like, you ain't won yet, bro? Nah, man. Tonight we'll make it happen. So, and it felt no different than what it did when you lost. But, the thing about it is, like I said, heartfelt, man, for the people that are my fans, whether it started back in the executioner, and people know that to the time when I come out and I was JD Hogg to go into JH Hogg, and JD Hogg was kind of tough because, when I wore the bibs, kind of like a fun story, but everybody started calling me Boss Hogg with the Dukes of Hazzard with JD Hogg and a little fat guy in a white suit. Well, I'm like, okay, got to change that up because that's not what I am.
Yeah.
I'm a big bulky guy in bib overalls, so I got to try to figure out that and see what's going on.
Yeah.
It should be on silent.
My bad.
But the thing about it is, you have to basically, and I kind of lost my train of thought where I was going with this. I got basically what happened is it was a career that come full circle because going into the time when it was time to take me out underneath a hood and wrestle as a regular worker and give me a face gimmick. Everybody knows Dusty Rhodes and Sweet Sapphire.
Yeah.
The little gimmick with the polka dots in WWE.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that she was actually probably instrumental in taking me out from underneath the hood because we had Juanita up here for shows for BBOW. And basically, she's sitting over in my folks. She's sitting over in the kitchen, and we're sitting there just having a conversation. And she just looks at me, and she's like, "Baby, you're too pretty to be under a hood." And J.R. Hogg had come back and surfaced in the time of back with BBOW, and he had resurfaced back in Indiana. And he's like, "Kid," he's like, "how would you like to take the bibs and take over this character and see what's going on with it?" I'm like, "Sure, man." He's like, "I need somebody to, I'm getting older, getting bigger. I can't take all the bumps and stuff, so I need somebody to handle it." At the time I was 20, 23, 24, something like that. So I was pretty able to go out there and be a fucking punching bag.
Yeah.
So that's how I got my my hillbilly gimmick basically, and I started out like I said as JD Hogg. And, everybody was putting with, Boss Hogg, so it's like, no, change this up.
Yeah.
So then I started thinking a little bit, and then it's like, after, a little bit, J.H. Hogg was, J.H. Hogg was kind of born out of that. Literally, did I not know that, like, it was a tribute to my father's folks, because, and the love that my dad had for this business. His father's name was John Henry.
Oh, wow.
And my grandmother's maiden name was Hogg. Spelled the same way, so it's like it all come like and it come full circle, and it's like everybody's like, what's the JH stand for? And it's Jake Harrison, Jake Harrison Hogg. But going back, it was kind of like how this stuff works out. You don't really put it together until you start thinking about it. And the day that I actually thought about that, bro, it was like, it was just like it was special. Just kind of like I had the look that you got on your face right now, like, wow. And eventually, there's probably something that's going to happen in your time being in the business where you're going to put something will happen to you, like will kind of be like the same instance where you'll kind of like put it when you get the chance to think back, put it together, it'll be like, wow, I didn't even realize that. But it's so sweet, man, because like I said, I've had a chance to, with the company, I've had a chance to bring in guys that wouldn't have got a chance if somebody like me hadn't have been around, because like a lot of guys will look at you and a lot of guys are like greenhorns, like you don't know anything. But I mean, there's a lot of people that I was able to help out as far as like Heat and Beat, Josh and well actually Verdell and Redbeard, the Johnsons.
Yeah.
They're actually are basically they're still our AACW tag team champions because they've never have lost the titles.
Yeah.
Those guys, I seen their first match, and it was actually, with a different company over at the Alliance Event Center where we just closed out our season.
Yeah.
And, I had, at that time, I had the ring and everything set up at Front Row Live, which actually was, center stage after the new owners broke in and took over Front Row Live. Mike and Kim Starkey. My love for you goes, unbelievable. You guys are, not only, friends, but you're my brother and my sister because you guys give me, you guys had belief and give me opportunity. So they hooked me up with a spot to bring these guys in and work with them and stuff. And once I seen that, I told John, I was like, Verdell, I was like, the ring's set over, here, so you guys can come train, you guys can do whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
And, we had shows and stuff like that, man. And those guys were on top, basically selling the place out at the time, bringing their family and friends and stuff like that, and good, good part of the history from AACW.
Yeah.
Then we have Christian Cash.
Yeah.
Christian Cash was a performer at Front Row Live. Was doing a rap show up front. Left his backpack there and come back in to pick up his backpack. Well, walk back through to the back, and we had the wrestling ring up. He's like, cool, you guys got a wrestling ring? Yeah, sure. He's like, oh man, I love wrestling. Get up there and check things out. So he gets up there, starts playing around, doing some crazy shit, gets with a guy, and they start working a little bit, and he just starts running his mouth. We tape it. AK tapes it and puts it on. A lot of people might not know Aaron, but AK is like, he's our sound guy. He's like my boy, like my ride or die since was actually.
Eric Kane was actually like one of my first ins to actually meet you,
right?
Because I knew Kane from a long time ago, and when I found out there was a wrestling company here in Kokomo, I was like, "Holy shit!"
That's kind of the same way with him. Like,
why didn't I know it?
Across, like,
yeah,
AK and myself, we had the same people as we grew up. We had the same we knew the same people, but we never crossed paths until center stage. Well, big dude, man, big tall black dude walking in with a cowboy hat, getting ready to go in and start a music metal, like a metal. At the time he had metal, like a metal station.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, there's a wrestling show here tonight, and that's how we kind of come about knowing each other. And then since that day, man, he was working for a company that done a lot of shows in Crawfordsville called NGW, and he's like, he's like, bro, this is like always my dream to be involved in wrestling and do something. And now that I got a home base, he's like, this is my guy. So ever since that day, man, he's been there with me 100%, like everybody. Yeah. So that come across, and when we were, that was happening and stuff, that just happened. And I got a lot of stuff here, man, and I'm trying to bring it out because I don't really want to miss anybody.
You're good, man.
But like
honestly,
Christian,
the great thing about your guys is the great thing about what I've seen from there. And listen, I'm a guy who grew up on wrestling and kind of fell out of it as an adult. That's the honest part of it. I grew up on it my whole life. I used to backyard wrestle. I loved wrestling.
We all did, bro. That's how we all started.
That's how we all started. And then I got away from wrestling, got more into music, got more into comedy, got more into that, and then doing the skits and stuff that we do. But when you go and you look at the skits that we do, it's all personality based. It's just like doing a promo for So you realize really quickly how much you pull from things that I pulled from wrestling when I was a kid, and then being around Jordan. We talked about it was so funny because we had talked about wrestling. He's like, I know guys that do wrestling and stuff, and we talked about it. And I was like, maybe we can use the ring for the show because we were writing a show. And he's like, yeah, maybe. He's like, I don't know, I'm a little weird about it. Next thing I know, he's always in the ring now, wrestling and doing stuff. Because he went from like, I don't know, man, I don't really want to portray myself as a wrestler because I'm not a wrestler in the show, and I don't want to. I'm like, I know, but we're acting. You don't have to. He's like, I know. And then now he actually is doing it. So it's funny where because when we went to write the episode, we were like, I don't know if I should. Now you're just doing it.
It's kind of funny because like a lot of guys are always hey, I want Bill, and it's like okay, it's like the thing about it is when you're trying to put a show together, you got to see what all you got, and everything's got to make sense.
Yeah.
And like since he's like he's a major guy that's like can get people over.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to try to they want to try to take that and see if you can like see if you can spark the surface to try to have some fire someplace to see if you can get some magic. Which when I talk about that, going back to Christian and some of the things that happened this year, we've had a lot of fire this year.
A
lot of stuff. Literally we had fire
and figuratively.
because with Christian Cash, going back to a little bit of history, when we were over at Front Row Live, he was actually, like I said, he started just working out. I didn't really know where to place him, so one time I was like, he was a ring announcer, and we brought in Road Warrior Animal to a show, and I think Christian was a ring announcer at that show, and he got to talking to Animal and stuff like that, and eventually, Christian started, we moved forward, and it happens to Christian progressing, which at the time, I'm going to kind of like feed into Justin Terrell, which was, he's been my guy and been there, he's everybody labels him as my golden boy, but he's the original. He's the very, the only basically original that we still have left from when AACW started up, which this last show we brought in Mike King for a special appearance and stuff like that. But Justin was a cat that at I think he said 14 years old, I think it was 14 or 15. He had a chance to break into the business by going to a local promotion that was ran by somebody that somebody that done a lot of bad shit in Kokomo.
It's the Voldemort of Kokomo wrestling.
Yes. So
he who shall not be named.
He actually started up, and there was a cat that was training Justin, that was my tag team partner, which says that he carried me through the years, but motherfucker, I was the one that gave you your name. And you basically, and I mean, hopefully he's pretty much a local boy. So if he sees this, I give you your name. You had two different characters, and you couldn't take your hog and your other character you had when you lost all your weight from bypass. You went out and you done two characters and didn't distinguish them. Yeah. You wrestled the same way with both. So you give your mass personality away and who you was. But yeah, motherfucker. I made you. I give you your name. So, it goes back to the point when you basically was called out.
Don't forget, this is Kokomo Press. We're petty as fuck. You can put people on blast. Go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm kind of wanting to hear this Voldemort name because as a guy who hasn't been around,
Donnie Clark.
There we go.
Donnie Clark, and another thing too, man. This guy right here, he basically gives me this little spill about, hey, you got them Bad Boys of Wrestling Championship titles? I want to check them out. So little did I know that he's sitting there taking pictures of my titles, and 2 weeks later he's going to clone them at a local trophy shop.
Oh no shit!
Yes. And then I actually brought them back to our by giving the heritage to our and the homage to our the start with the Bad Boys of Wrestling Championship, which now are owned by Christian Cash and Justin Terrell.
Yep.
Copywriting for somebody. Basically, what happened was they messaged me, which was Troy Miller. Messaged me. He's like, "Yo, how'd you get those titles from Donnie?" I'm like, "Bro, those are my titles. I bought those from Johnny years ago, man." And it's like, look. You fire that, you bring that picture up, you can see all the you can see all the messes, the scratches and stuff on them. Those are originals.
Yeah.
But you don't clone shit and think that you can get away with it. Especially you're not going to down me and when I give you something as a part of the business to give you a rub and do something with you, because we actually wrestled Pat Tanaka, bro, with the Orient Express. Donnie had brought in Pat Tanaka and his trainee in over at a show in Greentown, and basically Donnie was wanting to be the superstar about everything that was going on. And after the show, man, it's like I'd always refrain from, like, when I never, as an entertainer, I never thought that I was going to be able to wrestle guys that had been in the big time.
Yeah.
But when it happened, and Pat was actually the first person when I was actually pitted against a match against them. So, and it was a tag team match. It was, it was JB, which was, I think that was, at the time it was JB, and that was Donnie's name, and JH Hogg. And it wasn't a Greentown. I can't remember exactly where it was, but we wrestled the Orient Express, which was Pat and his trainee.
Yeah.
And, I never would body slam a guy because all the guys on the independents, it makes sense because I'm a big dude, and every time I would go to scoop somebody up and drop them, I would lose my balance.
Oh, shit.
Okay, so that's why I would try to restrain from doing body slams. So when we're trying to get everything set up, and Pat's like, "You give me up scoop slam," I'm like, "Whoa, we can't do that." He's like, "Nah, man, trust me, I'll be there. It'll happen. It's cool." So I was like, all right, man, and I explained to him, why I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And, he's like, "Don't worry about it, man. It's all good. I got you, brother. Just trust me."
Yeah.
So we go to that point in the match, man, and we get there, and I go to scoop set and pat it up, and it was just like it was brilliance, because it was just like everything was a follow through, and I come through, boom, I planted him down with no staggering. I'm like, I'm standing there looking fucking solid.
Yeah.
And we go and we work the match. I can't even remember, because I was so that was the biggest spot.
Adrenaline.
Because
adrenaline.
it was the biggest spot, knowing that with all the independent guys. That's something I can never do, because it's like, I always stagger when I go to plant, and it's like, boom, I lose my footing, and this is something that I talked to Adam Rain about it.
It's a lot,
because
I
noticed
to
it.
make sure that they're
We talk about this a lot
you.
for people that people are, maybe they've just stumbled on this, but we are doing wrestling, so they should know. But at the same time, it's a dance. You have to you depend on your partner as much as you depend on yourself. You can be the most knowledgeable person ever, but if you're wrestling somebody who's a novice, you can't do a lot of things because they can get you hurt, or you can get them hurt because they don't finish it. And so the thing is, you're wrestling a guy that knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
And you actually had that caliber raised, and you were able to do something that maybe you
and totally,
didn't know
man,
you were comfortable with.
I mean, I didn't give a shit what happened the rest of the night. I landed that body slam. Everything was cool. And at the end of the night, bro, I literally felt accomplished. And, after the match was over, the 1, 2, 3 was over, boom, I just go outside, and Pat follows me, and, we're talking, and I'm like, bro, I have got, and I mean, I'm going to use an analogy because, I've got the biggest heart on that anybody could ever have in the fucking business right now.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, he's like, bro, that was special. And I'm like, this cat up here thinks that he's a fucking superstar. He's like, no, that dude ain't shit, man. He's like, he ain't shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and this coming from a guy that I give a gimmick, and that's how they repay you, man. They repay you in that way by doing something on a negative aspect, because talking shit at Hacienda to his waitress, I'm a guy that, he's like, I own a wrestling promotion, blah, blah, blah. I've had a tag team partner that I've had to carry for years. My sister hears the conversation. She's on the booth behind him, and my sister hears the conversation, and she's not she doesn't step up, and she's not ever a person that's going to, be confrontational, but she's like, she tells the person she's out with, she's like, we got to go, because if I hear any more of this, I'm going to do something that's going to probably get me in jail. And when she gets up, she's like, I don't appreciate you talking shit about my brother, because, if anything, you owe him, you owe him dues, he done a lot for you and this and that. And he's kind of whoa, and he was like, oh, you it's I'm like, fuck you, dude, because you mean
really
shit to me.
He was
shit. Exactly.
He's just over there flexing in Hacienda. That's some weird ass shit, bro.
But I mean, it's that's what I try to instill in guys.
Enjoy your wet burrito, bro.
It's like
chips and ranch. Yo.
You have
Hacienda.
you have to basically give back to the people who's paved the way for you, man. And I mean, that's what I try to do. And I mean, I talk about that a lot,
important.
man. Yeah, because I mean,
loyalty is important regardless. Even if let's say you're not even paving the way, but if you're two people that start together, and you guys do things together, and then one day you just decide to
but the thing about it is, this cat used to watch me on the regular shows, man, and he always wanted to wrestle Johnny. Johnny Osborne, and I guess I got to give that to him, because to clone my fucking titles and to clone them and say that he had the Bad Boys of Wrestling titles, that's the only way he would have been able to hold them. Because to wrestle Johnny Osborne, you didn't ever want to do that, because he was a bad motherfucker, bro. I'm telling you, if you didn't want to give color, and he wanted color, he would give you color.
Hard way.
Yeah, exactly. I sat there and I watched the match, man. Yeah, everybody know superstar Bill Dundee.
Yeah.
Okay, and his son Jamie Ice Dundee. He come here. Him and Johnny were actually they were in a match down there, and I actually watched. There's the Southern style. They work a little bit different than we do here. They like to work tight, and they like to work tight, and they don't really like to work as loose as what we do. So. I watched them two guys, man, going up there, and after the first 2 or 3 hits, I'm like, what's going on? And it's like, it's like they're looks like they're doing a shoot. And then I watched Johnny rolls out of the ring, and he goes, because at the time he was doing a Sheik character. You know, he was doing he was doing the Sheik, not the Mysterious Sheik.
Yeah.
He was out from underneath the hood, so he was doing the Sheik. And he went downstairs, and he was pissed. Like, they were getting ready to shoot, man. And like, start talking, they have a couple minutes, you know, of a talk session, and they go back up. And once they got everything cleared out, you know, like doing, you know, like loosey-goosey style, you know, like being, you know, I mean, like being light, working tight, and being light. You know, I mean, basically, they had a decent match, and it was one of the greatest matches that I've ever seen Johnny work. But I'm gonna tell you, man, you know, to work Johnny Osborne was tough. I mean, you literally had to. I mean, you got your. I mean, like these guys literally back then, and I've told you this time and time again that the locker room back then, man, a lot of these cats couldn't be in because you had your guys where you couldn't like say anything because they would like tear you down, man. It's like if you looked at them and they were a vet, you looked at them and like if you didn't get up out of your seat, man, you know, I mean, they literally like, you know, they'd wait for you and it'd be like you had to show respect to them by getting up out of your seat, giving them, you know, give them the seat and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like those guys, man, I wish that some of my guys, some of you guys would have been able to be around when I had that opportunity to do stuff because you would understand and know that the business and respect the business more than what it is now from what some of these guys, from what Troy and myself and some of the other guys with us had to come through because these vets wasn't like what they are now that guys say they're vets. I'm a little bit easy with you guys. Like if I would have been back, you know, I mean, like, because I don't really police the locker room like I should. Yeah. Because I trust in you guys that you guys can be able to do that stuff. But you know, I mean, the thing about it is like if I would if some of the things that I would do and like would have instilled in my locker room, like a lot of cats probably wouldn't be able to. They wouldn't want to come back because it was pretty tough. But
well, I mean, that could just be a condition thing though. Nowadays, you know, the good news is that like you grew up in a little like it sounds like for lack of better words, but a more oppressive locker room. Where now because it's a lot more free, and you made it a little bit more enjoyable to be in the locker room, and nobody's like really treating anybody badly. Where you had to go through the shit to be able to create something where there isn't as much shit. That's good.
And see, the thing about it is like there was still like everybody kind of jokes still. If you're a wrestling fan, you know who kayfabe is. Yeah. But she doesn't exist anymore, and that's back then when I was working. She existed and she was always around. Like you never ever crossed kayfabe. Yeah. And you know, I mean, now it's like you know everybody understands that wrestling. You know, it's entertainment. And like. Like I said, the character that I am now is you see Shane Cowsert. Sometimes he is J.H. Hogg, but I'm a very humble person and really, you know, give back to like I want to give back and try to like make sure I'm doing the right things for these guys to have all the you know the tools for them to go out and entertain, perform at the best that they can. Yeah. And, you know, I don't hold any restrictions on their characters. And, I mean, I think that's one of the reasons why you've became full circle because, like, I could have reeled you in a couple times when I thought you were going out, but it's like, nah, man, just let him see where he's going with this. Yeah. Because you haven't, it's like building something that's very special, and I like...
It's all that.
I mean, you know, this last show, man, I had Aaron Cruz, Axel Cruz, who had his first pro match.
Super special.
We have Dylan Lewis, which is Tyson Lane, and his second
the stupid
match.
guy from the crowd.
Yeah,
yes,
the guy that beat me
twice. Very, very, very talented guy, man.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I love that kid, man. Like,
Xavier,
he's smart. He's smart about the business.
Yes. Xavier Gordon, who is Adam Rain.
Yes,
you know, I mean,
I like him a lot.
Yeah,
I think his personality is great.
Opportunity. And I try to tell this cat, man. I was a bigger wrestler, you know, and I understand the things that you go through, so take my advice when I tell you to use your singlet as your last piece of gear that you put on, then your other stuff won't roll down and you won't have to spend time pulling it up. So I went through this. I'm not telling you just to be telling you it. Understand that that's what it is, man. You know, you'll be able to cover that shit up. But, you know, then going to Christian, then going to some different guys, you know, like these guys probably wouldn't have got an opportunity to get in the business if AACW had them around.
I know that's.
And even though that they're, you know, they're greenies, they're greenhorns, man, that didn't take away from me wanting to give them their first opportunity because if you still go in and if you practice your craft, eventually you're going to get it, and something's going to happen, and you're eventually going to make magic. But like going into that, leading into there, man, how about the 2-on-1 handicap match? Fans bring the weapons with Brody Bodkins.
That was the match that like
Christian Cash and Justin Terrell, man. How about that match? And that Canary Currency.
Yeah.
Christian brought us. He put AACW on Canary Currency.
So okay. So
that's for that I'm ever indebted to you, my brother, because that's very special for us.
That and look, that's why we're here. In a sense, like it's all weird. Because it's all encompassing, right? And like Kokomo and Kokomo artists, and this is what Kokomo Press is about, is being able to showcase your art, no matter creatives, no matter what artists, that is,
creatives,
right?
Personalities, entertainers,
and we've been able to intertwine and intermingle with so much of that like you have to recognize the Kokomo scene, and just Kokomo in itself is so fucking thriving, right?
Yeah.
Like as far as a
creative wise, yeah. I mean, it's funny because like 6 months ago, like I honestly, this isn't no disrespect. For 6 months ago, I didn't know the AACW existed. I'd heard that there was wrestling in town, but I'd never even heard of it. Since then, I've heard so much, and I've learned so much about it, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with the publicity you guys have been doing, how good you guys have been doing putting out promotions. I've seen a lot of promotion, dude. Like more promotion than
it's all the guys in the back that really put hard work.
The green screen, the fact that you guys go through and you guys get all this stuff together. Honestly, it really just takes. I went live at one of the shows. One of the first shows I went to, even before I was taping you, I went live at the show for the page just because I'm like, man, this is really cool. I didn't know that this was here. And there's so many people around here that might not know that it's there, and they want an opportunity to come out and see something like this. And I'm like, it's packed. Every time I've went in there, it's been packed to the brim. I've gotten me a hot dog, I've got some chips, I got a Coke. I got to sit down and watch a wrestling match, and the guys are good. Like, if you haven't checked out AACW, and now I realize there's going to be a little bit of differences coming in the next year, but if you haven't checked it out, like, it's something you guys need to go out there and check out, because it's electric. There are great personalities. Even if you don't like this word, it's diverse. There's so many different cast of characters, sizes, shapes, colors, everything. Yeah. And I think that's something that Kokomo doesn't necessarily always know about, that there's this corner of the town, that there's this really cool thing happening. And we need to learn about it.
We wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for this guy here.
Exactly.
Like, I know that. I respect that. I'm trying to do everything I can to make sure that, like, that, like, I respect that and am so appreciative of it, because... Wow. Like, if not, man, I probably would have just been at home, like, playing Call of Duty, jacking off all the time. Like, legit. But like, I've been able to find a source to, like, to open myself up, and, like, that shit's crazy.
And it's forcing Jordan to become better and better editor. He had never really done his own videos. It's funny because he never did small things, but like doing this, he's learned so much on editing videos and putting things out and understanding beats and understanding how to talk in front of a camera. And I'm sure he's done a few takes here and there every once in a while.
See, a lot of people don't understand that, like, sometimes, like, until you really sit down and think about stuff, like, you don't realize the rub that somebody does for you or gives you.
Yeah,
puts you in different stages in your life that makes you a better person. And I mean, like I said, I was like, a lot of people would take heat for giving greenies a chance to go out there and perform, but for me, man, it was like, okay, let's see what they got. Let's see, and I mean, our locker room was based around a lot of greenies, but we had some guys that was in there that was able to, like I said, we got Brody Bodkins, we have Travis Southern, we have we have Justin Terrell, we have Chad Cross, we have Johnny Suede, we have Knuckles, we have Daniel Zero. These are guys that actually everybody either, and like some of the new guys, like Daniel was a new guy, second match this last show, but he was put in the right spots to actually succeed for the shows, whatever, and that's about what it is, to put you with the same people to make you thrive. And we had guys that knew exactly what was going on, that guys would be able to, like, the veteran would be able, like, going back to, like, when Christian first got into the business, I actually put Christian against, because at the time Justin Terrell was a babyface, and I actually put Christian against Justin, and they had, the pandemic kind of paused us for that, but they had I think they had
The refs in
four.
those early matches.
They had 4 matches. They had like 4 or 5 matches.
Yeah.
And the last man standing that they had, I mean, Christian was so nervous, man, because he didn't want to face Justin. And Justin's like, let me get him. And I mean, it's the same thing, because when I was able to get hold of Justin, bring him in and show him the whole ropes about the business and make him understand, I always told him, I was like, bro, be a sponge and absorb everything like that sponge. Take it all in, man, and you'll be able to use it eventually. And I don't think that he understood that at that time, because like we've had chances to be on shows with with Marty Jannetty, King Kong Bundy, Acts of Demolition. I mean, I brought them. Excuse me. I brought them Rikishi, Barbarian, and Road Warrior Animal, basically in AACW. So they are under our banner, which is kind of a success for me, and all that wouldn't have happened without Mike King and Dice Man Ronnie Vegas. Yeah. So to you guys, Jared Bird and Ronnie Hagen, I love you. I am very indebted to you through my life, because you have given us something special under our banner by helping me bring those guys in. But yeah, man, Justin was able to take that stuff that he learned from me and teach it to Christian, because not only did they have magic when they performed, which would have still been happening had the pandemic not got us. Because they had a major feud going on. That caused Travis Southern to turn on Christian, which caused Justin to save Christian, which caused them to become a tag team. Which caused now, in my belief, with Christian working beside Justin, being there as his tag team partner, he will be able to learn more from Justin.
I think he has.
And then he will hopefully be able to take what he's learned from Justin and give to somebody else later down the road.
Like we said, you gave all of us this opportunity. Now Christian's down wrestling down in Indianapolis at shows like WCWO, and like in running like the indie circuit around here. But like and he's growing. That's so good. I've been able to take this opportunity and like start to make my own like groundswell of things. And like I'm never gonna forget like where my home is, because the whole idea is I want to bring people back. And be able to bring people back, bring people in, put butts in seats. Which, if you're watching this, if you're listening, whatever, like AACW is gonna need a home. If you want to house AACW. How's the greatness, the history that this man has been able to bring to Kokomo and help Kokomo thrive in? Holler at him. Holler at us. Something.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, it's exciting. I mean, I know it's a little uncertain right now, and that sucks. Uncertainty always sucks, but it's also an avenue for something new to pop up, somewhere new, maybe another space. And I know that's something that everybody's kind of hoping for.
I have to give a thank you to Alliance Event Center and Dave Newmouth,
absolutely,
for giving us our home the last year. It was great being there, man, and calling our home, for the last year. They're basically AACW Arena. It was great. It was a great experience. A lot of good memories. But like I said, going back to the one that was the most special this year was the fans bring the weapons match, which was, bro. I mean, Christian goes through a flaming. Christian goes through a flaming table.
Crazy.
Somebody's telling me that somebody told me that somebody had a dildo in the audience and stuff like that. It's like, I was like, are you serious, man? Because somebody
hold on, used or
I don't know, but somebody had had messaged me, and I sent it to AK. I'm like, bro, I was like, how do you handle this? Because somebody brought it, hey, can we bring a dildo? And it's like, are you serious, man?
There's children there, but I mean,
it's but
no veins allowed. Just don't bring ones with veins.
We had pipes, we had lead pipes, we had screens, we had tennis rackets,
baseball bat,
we had baseball tack bat.
Did I see a tennis racket?
We had crutches, we had all kinds of shit, man. And since that match popped up, there's other independents in Indiana and all over the place that are doing fans bring the weapons match.
Yeah.
And Brody Bodkins, Justin Terrell, and Christian Cash, they brought the heat.
They did.
Because, and I really feel, and I know I shouldn't say this, but I really feel like that main event that night for that show could never be topped.
Yeah.
I think that has to be the greatest match in AACW history so far.
Challenge accepted.
Challenge
issued. How about that?
Because,
challenge issued. Can you top it?
I mean, you know,
I'm gonna top it.
Oh, we gotta figure it out.
The amount of fire that those guys brought for that match, and everything that come out of that, and I mean, bleeding into the whole storyline this year, everything was magic with those guys.
Yeah.
You know, they had a lot of matches that, you know, revolved around Brody, which I can't.
He's a big guy. He's a big. Brody, I can't say enough about Brody Bodkins.
Brody Bodkins,
that's my homie.
like to me,
shout out Dustin. Like
to me, you know, I mean, you know, the big man, he does a lot of extraordinary.
He does
a lot of extraordinary shit, and takes his character. Are we going over time, man?
No, you're good. No,
okay. He takes his character, you know, and whether, you know, I mean, like he makes you believe, and you know, I mean,
he's super serious about the business, and he's super serious about like his history and learning and all of this, and like you can see it. He's one of those guys in the back, like he's watching everybody's matches,
right?
And he's trying to help everybody with critiques and
the thing.
You can work on this. Hey, you can work on this. He's super instrumental.
The thing about it is like, you know, I mean, like I've seen Brody just like he's just been like put in different matches, like just to be there, like a guy in a match.
Yeah,
bro. I gave him a major storyline this whole year, and the magic that like they brought out of this magic. I mean, like Brody is a man that you could, you know, like you could put your company on his back and let him carry you someplace. You know, I mean, so much like Justin did for a little while, and you know Travis, and you know Brody's one of those guys, man. That, you know, I mean, he's one of those guys that, you know, can do it. You know, and I mean, not taking away from anything away from our champion, you know, Rick Vidal. Which, you know, he's kind of been overshadowed a little bit by, you know, some of the other matches that where his match would fall a little bit lower on the card because of the story that we're trying to tell. You know, Rick done a lot of good things for me this year. You know, doing the extra stuff and doing the other stuff that, you know, needs to be done to like grow the business. And, you know, I'm appreciative to that.
Rick's been super vital in not only, like, being one of the most hardworking, actually, wrestlers that, like, I'd seen in AACW over the last year. Like, he would literally, in my opinion, he would win our workhorse title because of work rate and, like, what he's been putting in, plus the amount of training that he does with a lot of the other young guys. I can't say anything bad about Rick Vidal at all.
And then we have Johnny Crisis, who, you know, I mean, he lost his championship. He lost the East. He's championship to Damien DeVille.
Yeah.
Johnny had some injuries. He hung his boots up. I don't know if it's like a temporary thing, but he kind of stole my thunder a little bit because, you know, I mean, it was actually before me, and I was like, damn, you know, I mean, it's like he brought a chair to the ring, took his boots off, and laid him down. I'm like, how can I top that?
Yeah.
But I mean, laying all jokes aside, you know, the appreciation that I got from the guys in the back, you know, I mean, they give me a trophy, you know, with a thank you and the heartfelt messages to, you know, everybody. Like, I appreciate, you know, what you done. I mean, like, you know, I mean, like, I seem to forget this, but Maui, you know, is like a Maui. Kai. I call him Maui. Kai Maho. Yeah. First match.
He's the Hawaiian.
Yeah, the Hawaiian hitman.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I was wondering because it sounded like Colbert Hawaii. Hawaii.
But it was actually his first match too, man.
Yeah.
And he in the Survivor Series the match, and he showed a lot of power, strength, and a lot of promise.
He's got a good look.
So
too.
yes, exactly. So
I had people hit me up about him. Just who is that guy? Can I get that guy? And I'm just. You gotta talk to Travis about that one.
That's literally Travis. That's Travis's hired gun. That's Travis's gun, man. You know, I mean, he brings the look that's, you know, 100%, you know, right on, and like I said, man, you know, with Mike coming back to this show with me actually, you know, hanging up the boots and in ring performance, having Troy and Mike there, and along with Justin and his heartfelt message, and having all the guys that I feel like I've given a start to, kind of make me feel like, you know, I've done what I was supposed to do in the
You really
business. You know, I mean,
And
as
the future's in good hands.
as
Yeah.
JH Hogg, I'm still gonna say as Shane Cowsert.
Yeah.
We still go on, but
Yeah.
JH Hogg as the performer, as the guy knowing as part of the storylines as AACW is done, that's over because,
This is wrestling. Nothing's ever over.
you know, I mean, it's time.
It's over for a little bit.
It's time that, you know, I mean, I sit back, I focus on, you know, other stuff that needs to be done as far as like if we do get a home, hopefully if and when,
Win.
you know, we move forward, and I want to be able to do extra stuff to like help you guys, you know, say like photographs and stuff like that to help you guys, you know,
We have
further
those
your
things-
gimmick and stuff too.
We
you know,
got
And
those
I mean,
things in the work, and it's
we
all
wanna-
coming in.
want to try to do
I'm
podcasts
available
and
to
stuff
help
like that.
with,
so.
you know me, man.
I know.
I mean, the funny thing is, the one thing I'm good at is video and promotion. So and Photoshop, of course.
I mean, the one thing that my envisionment when I started the company is it's I've got a vision for it and it's not there yet.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping that one day it does get there, and I'm hoping, you know, that everybody that's been a part of AACW continues to strive and believe that, you know, no matter what it is, I mean, it's hopefully you guys stay with me and understand that it's a long, hard process to get where we're going to go. But, you know, I mean, hopefully we're all going to go there and we're going to make it, you know, we're going to make it spectacular when we get there.
Yeah.
If nobody sees, I see, because I have vision for wrestling in Kokomo just as a whole, and we can't do it without AACW, and couldn't have started without you. So like, I see.
Yeah.
But
There's so much going on. The great thing about, like I said, the worst thing about the pandemic is how it slowed everybody down creatively. But the
Greatest
best thing
thing.
is it's like a renaissance now.
Yes.
There's been a renaissance since I feel like creatives in this town have said, you know what, I was stuck in my house, I was working on projects, I was working on ideas, and now it's time to put them together. And now people don't want to waste their time, you know, not doing the things that they thought were their dreams, and they're trying to make them come to reality. And the great thing about AACW is it gives somebody a chance like Jordan, who had a dream. You gave him a chance to go in there and get his foot in the door. Because, like you said, you got a lot... Greenies is the term that you use, which is like people who are new, right?
Yeah.
So like greenhorns or greenies.
Yeah.
So you got a lot of greenies. And, you know, a lot of people that watch this know wrestling and they know a lot, but they might not know a lot of the verbiage. So that's why I'm saying that. But like you got a lot of greenies in there, but it's also a lot of these guys have a lot of good personality, man. So like you were able to pluck these guys out of, you know, out of obscurity to the point where you're like, listen, I'm gonna give you guys a platform. Let's see what you do with it. And at some point, you know, you do have your vets, you do have your guys that you can depend on that know the business really well. But I think you have a really promising future with these young cats like Christian Cash, like JB. You've got Damien DeVille. You've got what's the new guy? What's the he shaved his head. Dylan. I really like
Dylan.
You've got a lot of
Daniel
Zero.
Zero.
I've seen him too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like Adam Rain, man.
Adam Rain,
that's my dude.
yeah,
I like him.
you know, like I said, you know, I mean,
Cruz is gonna be a good
yeah.
guy.
I mean, I just
And
to
just
me, it's
think about the guy. Look, man, I created Magic. I created a wrestler, and all I did was pull him out of the crowd, man. Austin is gonna be great.
Oh yeah, we have the big dude, man.
Yeah.
The big dude.
Yeah, dude.
I call him BD, man, for big dude.
Yeah.
Baby daddy.
You know, but I mean, like I said, man, I mean, it's like appreciation goes a long way. And I mean, the thing about it is, like, the three that stick out to me the most, and it's not taking anything away from the other guys.
Yeah.
Like such as yourself. I mean, like, you know how I feel about you, and you know everything that's going on. I mean, I don't want these other guys to feel like they're not getting the most out of Hogg, and like, oh, he's kind of missing over me a little bit. But the guys that stick out the most, man, is Tyson Lane and Axel Cruz. Those guys, man, especially knowing that, and you know, I have to say that the damn clown, Hysteric's the Clown. You know, I mean, without his little things going on with him, what he had going on with you guys,
Yeah.
a lot of that stuff wouldn't have happened. Like the magic couldn't have been created
No.
for
The guy
Tyson Lane.
the legit guy behind Hysterics, which we're not gonna say who he is for kayfabe reasons, because kayfabe still kind of exists.
A little bit.
Sometimes, like none of that shit would have been possible without him. And like honestly, like that guy has the best creative mind. And shout out to him.
And I mean, the thing about it is sometimes he gets discouraged with me when we talk about stuff because, like, and that's the same with Aaron because it's like, it's like I shoot a lot of ideas down.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we can't ever go back to them and make sure that they could possibly arise at a different time.
Yeah.
But at this time, I don't think that they work.
It's Saturday Night Live,
So,
baby.
Yeah.
It's Saturday Night Live. You
but
guys
you gotta
are all
imagine-
writers in a writer's room.
You gotta imagine all the shit that, like, I send you a lot of ideas, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, goddamn.
This guy, I send way more ideas.
Yeah.
Just
sometimes-
about the most random shit. Because, well, I mean, I love wrestling.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
Life is probably just wrestling right now. But like, everything else, like, whether it's fucking actual current events or
current events, like
sports.
ideas for jokes, ideas for comedy. I mean, the funny thing is, like, it all started before he was even a wrestler. He was doing comedy with us, like doing the page with us, and then he started doing the wrestling with you guys. And I'm like, man, it's taking on a whole new thing. You can tell this is like this is what he should have been doing.
He's a born entertainer,
Oh,
regardless, man.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's like because, I mean, even as Jordan Bell. You know, like his regular personality and who he is, man, he can still bring you in and make you believe at that person.
Yeah.
And I mean, then when he takes on the alter ego to somebody else as his creative mind,
Yeah.
I mean, it takes it to a whole nother level because, I mean, it's definitely a dude that is completely, always got positivity around him.
Yeah.
And I mean, which that's a good thing because a lot of people like lack that in their life and like being positive for a lot of stuff because there's so much negativity out in life, man. I mean, that's what COVID, the last 2 years have been brutal, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm personally myself, I'm getting sick of it. It's like, when is it enough? I mean, it's like, okay, we're going into like almost 2.5 years of this shit with trying total control. I believe it's total control of trying to control us and who we are. But, I mean, it halted our life.
Yeah.
But yet it made us believe that we can do other things. Like, I never once in my life ever thought about doing like complete shopping off the internet.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, for you touch eBay, you touch Amazon for certain stuff. But I mean, now a lot of people are doing like their grocery shopping and stuff, everything else from the internet.
Yeah, let me
and
I mean, the Kroger app.
And it's like,
dude, I will Instagram
all you
the shit out of some shit.
all you have to do is pull up and pick it up.
Yeah.
And I mean, it makes it so much easier because I mean, it's like, I don't want to go into the store and stand there and try to get down an aisle where there's a lady standing.
You know what I mean? To your house.
Yeah.
I mean, the times of standing in a store, like trying to walk through an aisle with two people standing there talking with a cart side by side, and you can't get through. It's like, can you please fucking move? I got someplace I gotta be.
It's
that
crazy.
Stuff is over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's
Because
the
now
resilience of the American spirit.
Yeah.
Where they always talk about how lazy Americans are. If you see other countries, like I remember I was in Italy for a while, and they always talked about lazy America, lazy America is everything. But then you don't realize how resilient and how strong we are when we have to shut down the whole country, and we're like, we're going to find a way to get the groceries out to you without doing that. So now we got people in there. I'm going through the aisle. Maybe you got to go to the grocery store to get one or two things. Oh, I forgot to grab this.
Right.
So you're going through the aisle, you're grabbing something, and then you see these kids like with these carts coming through with bags, and they're like filling it all up, and they're like, and it's like now you've got kids out here that have jobs. Their job is to fill bags with groceries just to bring them outside to you. And I'm like, that's the resilience of the American spirit. But now I'm seeing and I keep bringing it up. It's a renaissance of the American. It's a whole new creative renaissance that came out of this as well. So like, it was a bad thing. Like, it sucks. We live in Indiana. We're lucky. We're a lot less locked down than other places. So we do live in a place that's a lot less locked down. So we have the ability to have a renaissance. Somewhere like Australia, where they're locked down right now. France, they're locked down. There's riots in the streets for COVID lockdowns right now in Australia. Right now in France, man. There's stuff brewing up north in Canada. where there's riots starting up there because they're getting sick of being stuck in.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, in Indiana, we can go to an AACW show last weekend, have a great time, then go see a movie.
Yeah.
And we're like, yeah, and it's all going down here.
But then also too, another good thing that like brand new movies that come out, like Peacock will stream new movies that would go to the theater that you can actually see. So is Stars, so is
Disney
HBO,
Plus,
stuff like that.
shit like
I mean, it's like, but on the other hand too, the pandemic kind of sucks because if you go order food out, you can't get any good food anymore because there's nobody to cook it the right way, and it all smells the same and it tastes the same. Yeah. There's nobody that wants to work anymore. That's bullshit too. You know, I mean, it's like, but it's
I think
like
we're getting cloned chickens too. It's kind of my theory now.
you have.
I've eaten the same chicken 7 times. Larry the chicken.
Yeah, shout out Larry.
Have you guys been able to go to Popeyes?
Yes.
Once.
Yeah. I went once as well.
Well, I mean, because I've heard both. I
It
mean,
needs
like,
to be ghetto. It's not ghetto.
It's not ghetto enough.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's brand new, and you guys know. Wait a minute, you guys know that it's only 2 months old, and you can go onto a site and you can take a 20-year lease to own that Popeyes.
What?
Yes. Yes, exactly. That was pointed out to me the other day because they built that, and they're going to. Yeah, you can take a 20-year lease to become the owner of that thing, even though it's built. Yeah. Look it up, man, when you get some time later
I
on.
know. See, I know the DM, so that's something.
Yeah,
we know the DM. He's.
But I think that might be because maybe when they build a new, maybe they want a franchise.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think
they just built another one in
Marion.
They just built one in Marion too. It just completed construction. The DM actually was.
I was getting kind of
a second one. Yeah, what? Because they'll be like.
I was getting pissed, yo, because I could never, ever, like every time I would pass there, it'd be too long, and I'm not waiting that long for a fucking chicken sandwich.
One of the admins on the Kokomo Press like kind of watches Popeyes and informs Kokomo when there's no more lines.
So
it's the black guy. I'm just kidding.
So were you guys happy with your meal or no? Because I've heard both. I've heard somebody
Honestly,
said
the sandwich wasn't bad. The little pop I'd always do the same thing when I go to any new chicken place. I get like the same, as close to the same order as possible. I want your fries because I want to see what they taste like.
They were supposed to be Cajun fries, but they were good.
Yeah, they're not bad. The fries were the best.
When we got them, they were kind of cold.
Oh
but,
man, that's a bummer.
but still, I thought
2 hours to
like
get cold fries.
I thought that they were going to have like the spice would have been a little bit hotter because they were supposed to be Cajun, but they were actually good. But I mean, they're kind of like a rally fry.
Yeah,
it's kind of like a rally fry, but a Cajun.
And
I was actually happy. I was actually happy with the chicken sandwich, which a little bit of it. I mean, the bun kind of felt like it was a little bit. I don't know, maybe. Maybe it was a little bit.
They've been having issues stocking the buns. That's one of the things that I've see like my.
But I was actually happy with the overall experience.
Yeah,
I would give it. I would give it an 8 out of a 10.
Yeah, I'd give more of a 6 or 7.
I still think it needs to be a little bit more ghetto.
Yeah, that's true.
We need.
But it's not in the location. I don't think it's ever going to be ghetto.
No. They just need to hire some employees that.
I don't know. Have you seen that KFC over there?
Exactly. Yeah. Mark
KFC. It's in the corner.
But they're all Popeyes is here, and they're all the way across here. So I don't.
And they're hidden back in that corner. That's where the Popeyes should be.
But when Popeyes get some employees that will answer the speaker and be like,
Bro,
"What you want? We ain't got chicken."
Yeah,
it'll be better.
I promise you. Or when they say, "Hey, welcome to Popeyes. What are we gonna get?" And then they trail off, and they're like,
Last weekend. I went to the Taco Bell down here.
Yeah.
On Markland.
Yeah.
I pull up there and they say, "We don't have it. Welcome to Taco. Can I take your order?" Or however the fuck she said. Yeah. She's like, "We have no steak and we have no this." I think she said, "We have no steak and we have no beans." I'm like,
fuck.
Okay, I was coming here to get a steak quesadilla, but it's like okay. And I'm in line. How the fuck am I? Because like there was people in front of me, and they don't have like a they don't have a drive around.
So
so I mean, you still gotta order something. So I was like, how's this work? Because like I have to substitute something that I wanted. I really wanted.
Plan B.
Yeah, and I have to get something else. So I was kind of pissed about that. But it's like how can you like run out of steak when you know that steak quesadilla is probably one of their best sellers?
No one cooks anymore. No one cooks it's
And I mean,
anymore,
is it because of the pandemic? Is it because they don't have any people there, or what is it?
Well, actually,
I
you
don't
would
really
think
understand
that
it.
we
I don't
would
really
cook more because we're all stuck home. You have to learn to do
Well, I
something.
mean, here, but I mean, as far as like being out to a restaurant.
Yeah, that's where it gets a little interesting because the restaurants are. I feel like it's obviously we all know that there's a supply chain issue right now. We all know there's boats, ships, gigantic cargo ships.
You can't get
off the coast of
microchips. You can't get
LA
chicken
right
wings,
now
you
that can't what is it? Can't anchor in. They can't,
Yeah.
yeah. As a guy who's in the Navy, I should know a lot more verbiage, but I never went on a ship, so never had to learn any of it.
Because Navy people don't do shit, bro.
Yeah, we did. We did more than you, bro. More than you.
Oh.
Without the Navy, you wouldn't have.
Okay,
water.
wait a minute. I don't have the bell. I
Alright.
don't have the bell. I can't like ding ding ding. Let these guys go
I'm
at
gonna
it.
need you to put me in the ring with this guy. We're gonna
What
go
the
at it.
where were you? He was
Army.
Navy.
I'm
You were,
Army.
you were Army.
Yeah.
So do we have a Navy Army type? Do we have do we let you guys get up in your fatigues? Is that what they call
we
it,
could do it.
fatigues?
Yeah, fatigues.
And have Navy versus Army at a show, or what the
Yeah.
fuck?
I mean, we could. We could. that might be.
We could totally do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because there
I'm just
has
saying.
been talks about one time, like trying, like I've had talks with an individual, like maybe trying to get like a what do they call them? Exhibition of Kokomo Police versus Kokomo Fire.
Oh, that would be pretty
Maybe
interesting.
we
And,
do
you know, like,
Team Army team versus Team
doing
Navy,
some other stuff,
like for
so-
Memorial Weekend or
Yeah,
something.
and,
I mean,
and
like-
I'll show up and you'll think you're wrestling me, but I just bring a Marine
Yeah.
because they're the ones that do all of our dirty
I mean,
work.
Oh, that's how you pussy out of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I was wondering.
I show up. Hold on. Pussy out of it. Explain to me who Adam Street is again.
Huh?
Explain to me who Adam Street is. Pussy out. Oh yeah.
Look,
you know what I'm talking about.
I'm a creative.
I'll come at him.
I am a creative genius.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't see my work. Y'all didn't see what I was doing. I was creating stars.
Yeah, I remember when you created that choke slam by Adam Street that I saw on Hysterics, baby.
But,
You know, even I felt bad for Hysterics after that one.
stupid clown.
Stupid class.
Stupid clown. But without that stupid clown, you know,
Mm-hmm.
some of the stuff, like the last 2
I
months
know.
with some of the gimmicks.
He's been great.
you know,
Honestly, like let's pull back the curtain on this side because he's been amazing. I met him, who he is outside the clown. He's very awesome. That voice is so cool. Like,
And I mean, the thing
he's
about
so
it
big
does
for a little clown.
the thing about it does he does other stuff too. Like he does other, like he's got the Grinch going on. He's got other stuff going on. So he does a lot of different stuff. So yeah, this is a plug. So if you want to do an appearance by the Grinch at Christmas time, get a hold of me and I can get him to get a hold of you.
Does he go with Mrs. Claus? Is he that guy? Or is he does? I know there's somebody that does the Grinch and Mrs. Claus together.
No, I think he's
Does he do it
just
separately.
yeah. I know that somebody he's actually going to do.
Does he have a video? Does he post that?
He's actually going. He's
I'll-
actually going to
we'll
do.
find it.
He's
Let's
actually.
post it on the page.
He's actually going to do. He's going to make an appearance doing Justin Terrell's daughter's six-year birthday party as a Grinch, the Grinch themed Christmas party. So
I saw the Grinch's son on TikTok the other day. A guy named Brian West did.
Oh yeah,
Did you see that?
I saw it.
He's
But,
like, I just want your pills in your.
Shout out to Brian West's TikTok. And
Oh, yeah, check it out,
Let us
dude.
never take it away.
Yeah.
I saw what you said, Alicon.
Alicon, what do you? Yeah, Alicon did say Brian West doesn't deserve that TikTok anymore. I saw
Don't
that.
take it away.
I do want to also bring up as how great the wrestling collaborative system of everybody kind of bigging each other up, because that's one thing. It's not just you, but like when Alcon shares something of you, he's also sharing an AACW guy.
Yeah.
So like we're getting a lot of
well,
cooperation.
yeah. I mean,
and
but
I
the
hope
thing
we
about
keep
it is
going.
like the full circle about that. I don't know if like
Alicon
Alicon actually.
AACW.
Alicon got a
shit.
break.
I had
Mike King actually
That's
knew
fire.
Alicon from shows because he used to be a fan. He was a fan over at the shows in Muncie, and like we started talking, and you know, it's like we were just talking. Basically, what it was we brought him in for a performance, so he, you know, because he does his rap thing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, done a little performance at Front Row Live and stuff with Mike and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, like that's another thing too. I mean, you know, where he's like went. I mean, it like, you know, I mean, like. Mike's like, hey, you know, can we bring this dude in? I'm like, sure, you know, I mean, it's not a problem. Let's go ahead and give him a spot. You do a spot with whatever's going on, and you know, I mean, like, I guess hopefully when it's all said and done, like Shane Kauser, HOGG, AACW, hopefully can like be like giving people like be known to give people opportunity,
yeah.
and you know, like that's hopefully some people can say, hey, you know. it might have been a small company, but whatever is, this dude believed in me and he gave me a start. So I mean,
well,
that's
that's
how
why
it
you're
come
on
to me,
today.
but,
Like, it's because
you
like I want to make sure I give you your flowers. You know what I mean? Because I appreciate you and I appreciate everything you've done. And we ain't done.
Nobody can ever
done.
nobody ever gets pulled out without a hand.
Yeah,
let's remember that. Like
Yes.
you always have to have. That's the great thing about being the collaborative effort of all the people is we do have people pulling people up.
Yeah,
I'm a four-legged daddy. You know, I mean, like I have a son that's
I'm three-legged.
You know, my son is I call him. I got a son who's is savage.
Yeah.
And he's an oversized. Shit! I just lost my train of thought. He's an oversized Yorkshire.
Yeah.
And man, I mean, it's like Justin's mother and father, Jason and Michelle, actually had a litter of Yorkshires, and they were going to give me one for he'll be 7, 8, maybe close to 10 years.
Yeah.
And basically, Jason, that was like the best gift that I ever received from somebody was my dog. Because he's become community property, but they actually they was calling him Hoss because he was like stealing, like he'd go like at feeding time he would go to the tit and he would knock all the brothers and sisters off and take all the food, take all the milk, whatever. And I was like, Randy Savage was my favorite WWE superstar of all time.
Yeah,
Love the guy.
Yeah.
Greatest in my eyes. He was the greatest entertainer, greatest wrestler ever. People would argue that, but and I was just like, after his death, I'm like, no, you got to name him. His name has to be Savage.
Yeah.
And to this day, bro, that's where the name come from, and he is a savage. Yo, I go into the house, my mom's house yesterday, because my mom, after my dad passed, pretty much, my mom was having a hard time with it. So I just basically, I live next door to my mom, and basically I just left him over there. He's still my dog, but every time he gets in trouble or does something he shouldn't do, she's like, your dog.
No dog.
But any other time, he's her dog, whatever. But
he just has two houses.
Yeah. Yesterday, man, I go into the house, I got my hood up, and I always wear, like a bandana. And like it was our ritual where, I go in and I sit down. He jumps up on my back and he grabs my bandana. Well, I had my hoodie on yesterday, so he couldn't get it. So he's jumping up on my back. When I started playing with him and wrestling him around, he's jumping on my back, trying to pull my hoodie off and trying to get my bandana.
Yeah.
And he literally gets pissed off and mad at me because I'm like, yo, bro, not now.
Yeah.
And then he goes and pouts in his little, he goes to his corner and pouts. And but dude, yeah. And to get with this story, what I'm talking about is that's the only father time that I really had.
Yeah,
but yet there's been places in the business in this last year, especially when I felt like a proud daddy.
Yeah.
Seeing Jordan's, seeing him bust out and become what he is makes me feel good and like I'm accomplished. And those couple moments,
a lot of wrestling kids out there.
Yeah. The couple moments, the couple moments that got me the biggest this year was when Dylan Lewis, which is Tyson Lane, had his debut.
Yep.
Against Jordan.
Yeah. So his wrestling name was Tyson Lane.
Tyson Lane.
Tyson Lane is
cool.
wrestling.
So I keep fucking that up. I apologize.
And
I just knew him as
and then Axel, Aaron Cruz, which is Axel Cruz.
Yeah.
His debut, bro. I literally once it was the two spears.
Yes.
One spear, the second spear, and the drop. The big dude getting up and drop kicking, and then bro, what did he hit him with? The spine buster.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, I felt so accomplished because I literally went to his mom and dad and I said, I feel like I'm a proud daddy right now.
Yeah.
I had goosebumps.
Yeah.
Man, and that's what the business is all about, man. It's because I know that I've had a part that's made me successful by, giving these guys a belief, giving them a start, and, showing the love that was given to me through the years because
it's important.
I was protected by the guy that I got my start with.
Yeah.
And, I'm so grateful to him for that. And, these guys now, I can't, I won't be able to protect them as much as what he did me because you know, as to seeing what Jordan's, you know, doing as far as he's branching out and doing other stuff. Things kind of go a little different way, but
he always knows he can call you and say,
Yeah,
"Hey,
exactly.
man, what do you think
This
about
is home.
this?" And that's why it's always great to have
Try to
you
have
know,
people back.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean the one thing about it is, you know, I mean, Christian is, you know, like, he's always given me, you know, the ups when he's taking independent shows. And like, if you don't like if you go someplace and they say who trained you or who'd you work with, and they're gonna say ACW and JH Hogg, people are gonna be like, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
Like, because there's nothing tagged to my name, you know. I mean, like, you have to have a legit somebody that, you know, has some kind of school or somebody like that. But even if you make the big time, or, you know, like small time now with AEW, I mean, WWE is always where everybody wanted to go, but AEW is the other, like, giving them competition. I mean, I think everybody still strives for WWE at one point in time, but now is like everybody's striving for AEW because they're doing more and they're getting more recognition.
I dare
And-
say I'd like to do
But
both.
the thing about
If
it
I
is
ever had an
when you
opportunity.
get there, they're going to strip you down and train you the way they want you to do anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter where you got your start. So I mean, we all started the same way. We all were backyard wrestlers the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, it all boils down to Mick Foley. I mean, you got the videos of Mick Foley, the Hardys, and all these guys, man, backyard.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you get to a place where there's notoriety with a big time, basically where you could base a big time, they're going to strip you down and make you and retrain you to do the things they want you to do anyway.
You know what?
Well,
I
the
really
thing is
enjoyed
that
the
you never-
Gonzo guys came to your guys' show. I
Yes.
wanted to bring that up.
Shout out.
Yeah, and as a matter
that
of
was
fact,
amazing watching them do that. I mean, I know you guys have AK, you have Lenny up there. You go up there a lot and do a lot of talking, right?
Yeah,
I know.
yeah.
Well,
But-
that's the one thing we haven't had ability to do as a podcast.
Yeah.
And shout out, I'm going to do their podcast on Wednesday.
On
Yeah,
Wednesday,
so
yeah. They're
We're
good
excited.
guys. They're good guys.
I was supposed to
really
go with
appreciate
him,
them.
and I ended up
Yeah.
having a lot of family stuff where I couldn't go, and I was bummed I wasn't able to make it.
I
'cause
literally,
I
I
hear
appreciate,
myself then be like, "Well, we thought Granger should be here." I'm like, I'm sorry.
I appreciate that, and I mean, to me, it was just like it was like I found that out. I mean, like, I noticed, like, it was Friday that I seen your post where they were coming, and then they like roll up on that Saturday when I get there because I had to work my regular shoot job, and I'm rolling up and I seen the truck backing up, and it's like, I'm like
Who's this?
thinking like, who is this, and it's like, you know, we come in peace, and then all of a sudden Mike King comes out, you know, and I mean, it's like, hey, and then we have a little conversation, and these guys go up and they you know, we start talking to them and stuff like that, and then it's like, since they met me, I'm a little bit bummed that they had other people on before me, but you know, I mean, it's all full circle because, you know, like I
well,
said,
the good thing
it's
about us
great,
is
but-
No,
I
even though
love
it took
it,
a minute
man.
to get you on here,
I-
we aren't technically a wrestling podcast. You know what I mean? I know there are wrestling podcasts in town.
No, I mean,
I
I'm
gotta caveat that too when
Yeah.
I put posts out about, hey, like, I'm looking for like some guests and stuff like that.
I mean, I'm
like,
willing.
I love like all
We can
all
have
of-
wrestling people
all
on. I'm
of my
cool with it. We
wrestling
have.
friends.
Right.
I love you.
I
just
love it. I love wrestling. You know,
if
I
you're
grew up on it. I
Kokomo,
love
you know, I mean, if you're Kokomo, let's talk about Kokomo, man. you know,
Yeah,
I mean, I know you guys straighten me out for AACW,
Yeah.
but I can talk all fucking day, bro.
Yeah.
I'm good.
I mean, other than the fact that
But,
you know you have I think you guys have a new wrestling promotion called the Armored Truck Promotion. The robbing up. No, is that you guys?
I'm not affiliated with that one. I don't know.
Somebody robbed an armored truck in town. That was pretty crazy. We can talk about that, but in
I'm just
general,
saying, though,
we just make jokes.
if those cats need a way to like
Yeah, if they need
clean
somebody.
their money,
I know.
I mean,
a place.
I just basically I seen that on the news, but I kind of missed it. I missed it a little bit. So can you kind of go in detail and let me know what's going on?
Well, what I've heard is basically a lot of people think it's an inside job, which it kind of feels like it has to be,
It's
right?
broad daylight.
But it's broad daylight. They're parked. The Brinks truck, not Brinks, it's Garda. Garda truck is parked, and like that one guy is going around, and apparently there's a gun on the guy that's in the guy that's in there, and they rob the thing, they take off with the stuff. That's what I've read. That's what I've heard. But a lot of people think it's an inside job. So far, I don't think there's been any arrests, right?
I don't know.
They got away in like a red Chrysler car, or no, was it a Cadillac? Maybe it was a red Cadillac. It was black guys, so unfortunately, it could be. Hey, this guy's from Chicago. Everything's Chicago around here.
It probably
Hey,
was.
Chicago. This guy's could be
Probably was,
Wisconsin guys. You know, they could be from Michigan. They could be from Illinois.
well, I
mean,
think,
you know,
I think
yeah,
the reason
maybe-
why.
We're just gonna blame it on people that come from other states.
Yeah, it's easier.
Well, yeah, because we get a lot of that blame from Chicago is because we have Chrysler here, which is the commute for Chrysler and people coming from up there and
Which is
yeah,
kind of
Michigan,
weird
so,
because there's more people that come from St. Louis,
right, and Michigan
from here.
Yeah.
Than
Not
than
even
they do
just
from actual
Chrysler, but you also have to remember that there is some type of program. I know this has been confirmed, and I know that I hate bringing this up because it's true. But there's some type of program that if you come to Indiana to Kokomo for a year, on the housing, you can transfer that voucher back to where they live. So they're taking the houses here for a year, taking their vouchers and going back up there. Apparently that's been the rumor forever.
Yeah, that's been a rumor that our city's getting
works.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah, their city gets a kickback or something for housing.
Well, they basically, they get.
And then once they come,
funding.
somebody say once they come here, they don't want to leave. Like they stay here.
Kokomo's great.
Like,
Kokomo's great.
you know, I mean, like I'm a Kokomo citizen. I'm born and bred here, so you know, I mean,
same.
one thing about it is you know, like everybody's like Kokomo.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why are you gonna hate on Kokomo? You know, I mean, like we've had good stuff here. We had Terror Squad was filmed here.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's
Classic.
like you know, I mean, you got to go back way. Yeah, especially the one where the bus was going over the railroad track, and it was a big bus one time, and then it hits.
Oh
the
yeah,
small
it
bus.
went from Kokomo bus to Western bus back to
and into a small bus.
Yeah.
Well, you know they fucked a lot of shit up when they made that movie. But I mean, you know, we've had other stuff here. You know, I mean, like we've had other independent film guys. Especially we was talking AK the other day. They had
Dark Eyes, Hungry
Eyes. You know,
well, we just had a guy on that does stuff from here too. He's from Kokomo, Kelly McKinney.
With Canary Currency.
Yes.
You know, I mean, it's like we have a lot of Kokomo people. That's what
we say.
You know,
This whole creative, like, it's almost
that's
like a
why
creative renaissance. Really,
right?
It's a renaissance right now, and it's just everybody building together. Like I was out there on a shoot for Canary Currency, but we actually do our own stuff. We had a COVID police sketch that did really really well.
Yeah.
And we've done a lot of local comedy things. Like I've had videos hit over 100,000 views from me, and I'm just one guy. And I'm talking about there's a lot of creative people in town where we can racket those numbers, or we ratchet those numbers up, and we can keep going.
When people say where you're from, I'm proud to say I'm from Kokomo. You know, I mean, I mean, because the thing about it is I work in Elwood.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, if I say where you from, you're from Elwood, it's like, oh, KKK. It's like, you know,
yeah.
I mean, they're not like that anymore, but. You know, I mean, it's like
the
I work
reputation was there.
Still
yeah.
I'm just saying.
I mean, you know, it's I work at Red Gold. I've been there for 27 years.
Yeah.
You know.
The ketchup.
Yes.
Baller,
yes.
I love Red Gold.
So you know, I make PCs, which is portion controls, which we do White Castle. We do it, and we have so I mean if you're a Kokomo resident, you go to White Castle and they give you ketchup. More than likely, I've probably been one of the people that's handled. And made your in the process of getting your packet of ketchup to you. So
that's pretty baller. Anything but Heinz.
Yeah, no, please don't get Heinz because of the fact that you take money out of my pocket.
Yeah, and John Kerry's wife.
But
it's a dynasty. I'm just remember John Kerry's wife was like
but
remember the president candidate. His wife was
yeah.
She was from
but
that.
it's something I'm
also,
thinking now that
fuck Pittsburgh and shit.
Yeah. But yeah, man. I mean, it's like I mean, a lot of people kind of look over and like, yeah, you're from Kokomo. What the fuck you got in Kokomo? And it's like, man. You have to look for stuff. I mean, we have a trampoline. I mean, we did have through last year the first. Actually, it was the second Saturday. Of every month, we had a show that you could come out and support local guys.
Yeah.
And then we have a trampoline park here. I mean,
we've got so much going on, man. Like honestly, there's so many more things that people aren't even aware. We played in a kickball league together at the stadium. We played kickball on turf at the stadium here, and they have an ice skating rink that's opening up next week.
Yep.
The
whole winter season.
We've got so much going on in town, and I mean,
we have Friday. Now we have Kokomo Bobcats.
Yeah, we got a basketball team. We got a baseball team. We've got wrestling. We've got everything, dude. Honestly, it's crazy because I just hope that they just did a creative convention Saturday. This is going to come out on Monday, but this past Saturday there was just a huge creative convention we were supposed to be a part of. But we ended up all getting so busy and then Courtney went through her surgery, which shout out to Courtney for making it through her surgery. She's one of our hosts here that you see her from.
You're doing great, Courtney.
But she just went and she actually got weight loss surgery too. So I know you're talking about a dude that got weight loss surgery.
That's awesome.
But she went and got that, and she's trying to take care of herself there, and I'm really proud of her for that. And then we've got so much going on that we weren't able to make this creative convention, but this thing happened yesterday. They had a lot of great people in there, and they're going to do more and more and more of that. So the more people we get to, they did it at the was it at the, what is it? It was Johanny. Now then it was Ivy Tech. Now it's just like something else. I don't know. The Civic Center used to be. Right, but they did a huge creative convention.
Are they not supposed like? I heard that like they're not going to be doing events there anymore at that. Is that not true, or is it?
I don't think. I mean, maybe there's something going on. But maybe this was preordained before that. Yeah. But I mean, I haven't heard anything. I know they're getting ready to start building that big event center downtown too.
Oh, that's still going on.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the convention center
for years.
The convention center, yeah.
The Automotive History Museum / Convention Center / what is it?
Parking garage.
A Hilton. It's a Hilton.
Oh, cool.
They're gonna build a Hilton.
Sweet.
Right down there, that big space where the BMV used to be downtown, across from the new parking garage.
Sweet.
So they're gonna be parking garage,
yeah,
Hilton, and then there's those apartments over there.
Yeah, that's crazy how our whole town basically went from like buildings and stuff there to now fucking stacked parking garages when you go downtown.
So. It's also kind of weird. It's going to be a lot of homeless and rich people in the same exact spot.
Yeah. So, well, usually that's how most big cities
are. This is true.
They're trying to think of Kokomo as a suburb of Indianapolis rather than Kokomo being its own thing. Which is
we need to think bigger. I think in some ways.
Do we still have the roller girls here, City of Fists, or are they still not?
I haven't heard them doing
that's
anything
the weirdest
in a
name,
minute.
City of Fists.
It really
for
is.
A group of women.
Oh,
okay, sorry. It's just to me.
I mean, because I was just worried about.
This is not City of Fisters.
Yeah, it could be.
Well, I think it was. I'm pretty sure. Like I'm pretty sure that was their name, right? City of Fists.
Yeah.
But it was because we're the city of First in Kokomo. And
it makes perfect sense. But Fist with a bunch of women, it just feels like, you know what I mean.
I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it.
Oh no, we took it there. So
we took it there. He and I have dirty minds.
But still, the thing about it is, man, you know, I mean, it's like a lot of stuff. Like, I mean, I really wish like somebody could look at what we're trying to do as far as like our wrestling promotion and, you know, giving back to the community and stuff like that. Because, I mean, like Jordan said earlier, we are looking for a permanent housing location. Basically, like,
if
we
anybody
need somebody
knows, contact the page. We'll put you in touch with this guy.
With
seriously.
retail space, and you know, I mean, like I said, you know, we try to work out a deal somehow, and you know, try to figure some things out because you know, financially, when you're trying to do stuff, you know, you need to kind of hand up a little bit and try. You know, I mean, you need help because, like, you know. We all struggle to try, you know, when we're trying to start something out and trying to make something, you know, and this is not like a cry for help or anything. This is like putting it out there to like, you know that we're in the process of wanting to try to find a permanent space where I have the ability to have the ring up and give these guys give them the opportunity like we did the last, like Dave allowed it, like Alliance Event Center and Dave Mumau allowed us to do this last year was so where these guys could go in and practice their craft. And work on stuff, you know. I mean, we had training from we had Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, workout and training and stuff like that. But I wanted to branch that out. Is like I wanted to do like hands-on training on one day and do like a film session, and then like a where you could do like a creative type thing where you could like work on your character and stuff like that. So I mean, I've got a lot, but we just like hurt for space and stuff like that because we don't have like an opportunity. We did have this past year, but now we're looking for it again.
Well, I think it's about leveling up, and like AACW is in a position where it needs to level up to the next level because we've seen that we can do it. We can sell out shows.
Oh, I've seen it. As a person who's outside of it, I know you guys are both part of it, and this is me speaking from somebody outside of it. These things are packed every single time I've been. It's been packed.
And the reason why that is because it's a smaller venue. I like to go to a smaller venue. Because when you put the people in, it's more, it's a more intimate. And where it's like if you like these guys, like no pun intended, but Heroes and Legends does the Coliseum in Fort Wayne, but yet they have, it's a big venue.
Huge.
So when they sell tickets, people are scattered out. So it makes it look like there's a lot of open space. We have a small venue where we have, you know, kind of limited, but, you know, we can expand it because we have had shows that had standing room only. And, like, people are still coming in at the door and we're still, like, trying to figure out where we're going to put seats. But that's why I like to go smaller so where it looks like you have that, you know, and the crowd is much more into it that way, too. Because if you have a smaller space, you're more intimate and it makes things feel like you're more more.
It's definitely given us an indie and not necessarily underground, but like close knit feel.
Yeah, because and I know that the locker room guys, like the intensity that the crowd brought, them guys were like, they left, and like I know that each one of them may have not felt that they had the greatest match, but they felt like their entertainment for the night and the way that they left, they're like smiles 100% because it's kind of like they felt accomplished.
Yeah.
Because it's like when you get the crowd and you get like everybody in the crowd involved.
Yeah.
I mean, and that's what we have. That's what we try to have at our shows.
And the crowd's excited every time I'm there.
That's exactly why, like I always say bigger, sometimes bigger isn't better. Because of the fact that, you have a chance to do more and people see more because having that small area, it's like, man, this is, it's packed. And it makes you feel like you've accomplished something.
Yeah.
And anytime you can feel like you've accomplished something, that's like the greatest thing in the world, man.
Absolutely.
So, I feel like I've accomplished a lot this last year.
Absolutely.
You really have.
But I couldn't have done it, all on my own. There's, there's people that, people that in the past, the history, that I basically give shout outs, and, to like people now to the present, it's just a wonderful feeling, but, I'm so proud that, I had an opportunity to be on this podcast, because it is Kokomo, and I know we based everything on AACW pretty much, but
that's fine, man. We have the owner of AACW here. Who are we gonna? We got another guy who's a part of AACW, the commissioner. So honestly, it's not surprising that we're talking about that, and it's fine. Honestly, it's a Kokomo Press podcast. This is about something that's in Kokomo. This is about a Kokomo grown project. This is about something that's entertainment for the entire community. And it's not the first time we talked about AACW on this podcast. We have a lot. So this is the AACW podcast, the one that you guys have been waiting for, and we special guest was Shane here. Honestly, we've done an hour and a half of this. I hope we can find a new venue. I hope we can get you guys set up because, honestly, there needs to be more. This is 2022 could be a big year, but we need help finding a place to get you guys together.
Because, we've had, like I said, when we were at Front Row Live, we had Rikishi, we had
we can do
Barbarian,
those things again.
We had Animal.
Yeah.
We actually had now who's getting a lot of, she's getting a lot. Thunder Rosa, bro. She was on our banner.
Yeah.
And her and her ex, Holiday tag team partner, they come up and I actually had them in a match pitted against each other. And, they didn't really, they're not really accustomed to doing that, but, for the business and what we had for them that night. And it was a great night of women's wrestling action. Yeah. Great night, but Thunder Rosa now.
That's what we also need more
that's,
of.
That's what, and it's like we want to branch out because we want to bring some of the stars. I want to bring the stars in so where the guys can get the experience to work on a show with some of the guys that's been there.
Yeah.
And,
I truly believe those things are coming.
Those
things are easier than not, especially with the bridges that you have in wrestling from all your time and years, and the people that you've helped sparked in AACW that are going out here and meeting people and being able to bring people back. We can bring names in. It's just.
But in the same instance, too, man, you've always got your haters, and you'll find this out, too, because, like I said, a little bit earlier, I kind of put out a hater situation, but always, when I started wrestling, to me, I never put a guarantee on who I was in the ring. And my gimmick alone with the things that I could have done, looking back at it now, I easily could have asked for, I could have asked for one, I could have asked for one bill. I could have asked for one bill easily, with my gimmick, because, my gimmick adds to what you have, but I never done that.
Yeah.
And I'm not asking guys to come in and work for free, which a lot of guys say that, HOGG doesn't pay people. I pay you, but sometimes you got to understand that I may overlook you because I have show days, this from experience, man. I'm tensed up. I'm stressed out because we have a lot of guys going down the roster that guys aren't calling you till the last day. I can't make it, whatever. But it's like, I always try to be fair and I always try to take care of you down the line. If you got a problem with your pay to me, if you think you're worth this much, come up and talk to you. We'll discuss it. It's like, but like I said, man, I'm a firm believer that this is the way that, and you've heard me say this, You think you're worth $50? You bring 5 fans in, because tickets were $10 this year. You bring 5 fans in, you set their asses in seats, you're worth that $50. I'll pay you that $50.
Yeah.
I give guys an option. You guys go out, you want to move, you want guaranteed money? I'll give you tickets to sell.
Yeah.
You know?
Pre-sales or something.
And we talk about that, and I've had guys do that. And I mean, some of the times I'm not going to remember a lot of the shit, but if you just come up to me and you talk to me about it, man, I'll try to make it right 100%, because I get it, because there's times when I work shows when it comes to payoff time and the fucking promoter goes back to the back. You know, it's like, hey, you know, I've worked a lot of free shows, man. Not so much with the guy that took care of me, because he always take care of me. But in this business, there's a point where you say paying dues. You know, you have to pay your dues too, because you shouldn't always expect money.
Independent anything. Like I said, I used to we put on music shows for years. We did 2 festivals downtown. We put on a show every single month, and we made good money doing it. But all the money went back into equipment so that we could have a better show. And eventually we were hoping to get to the point that we were putting on shows so good, we had the equipment we needed, we could pay for the stuff that we needed, the new things to replace things, but we had everything. We were getting close to that point, and then we had a band blow us up and say we didn't pay them. We never told them we were going to pay them. Yeah. We told them we weren't, but they were upset we paid an out-of-town band, because when somebody travels, you give them their gas money. That's how we always
And once you get that label, and people say, well, this is the kind of dude he is, until you really get to know him, because like a lot of people's drag me through dirt. Yeah. And I mean, it's because I've had a lot of haters, but I mean, even the guy that I was putting, like the guy that had a promotion in Kokomo that I will not like name his name. Yeah. Like, he fucking come to my mom and dad's house, sat in the middle of the fucking floor, asking about how to start a wrestling promotion. My dad, myself, is like, hey, you know, I would do it this way. Tried to give him all the pointers and stuff. He was a fake. He was a phony. You know, he would take his money, and he would like have these superstars in and have he would have a $20,000 payroll, and he wouldn't have the money come time to pay these guys off, because he'd be taking the money from ticket sales and buying his shit, buying new furniture, buying new phones every week or whatever, you know, and all this other shit. So the dude even literally stole fucking gimmick money from his own wrestlers, because they were shut the show down, and you know, it was like, if you don't pay me, I'm gonna, you know, something's gonna happen. So he tried to take all the money he could possibly take from the guys' gimmicks, and those guys that sell gimmicks, man, they work hard for that shit. But it's always something too. If you're a professional wrestler, and I, you know, take my hat off to you, because you're now on Wrestling Tees. Okay, and that's everybody's game to fucking be on Wrestling Tees and get your merchandise out there and stuff. But also, too, man, walk in with your own gimmick. And if you have gimmick and you have fans, people will buy your shit. Oh, yeah. To this day, I haven't performed in the last year or whatever. But each show, I still had somebody buying a picture or buying something that I had of me as HOGG and asking for an autograph. Yeah. So, and I mean, I'm going to still try to put that out. You know, I mean, where
Jordan's Mr. Merchandise, though. So, he understands. He's always trying to capitalize. He's smart. Even last week when we were talking about the Brandon Brown thing, and you were like, listen, man, like, I would be out there making money off this Brandon Brown thing, this Let's Go Brandon thing. That's his name, and they were using it for this thing, and it's like he's just a racer in tier 2, you know what I mean? So like, to me, it's very important to be your biggest. If you're not your own biggest fan and you're not promoting yourself, like that's the show. You're basically expecting you to do it all, you, and you can do a lot of it. That's part of what you are, but you have to promote yourself. Yeah, you have to care about your own shit.
Like, you know, if you're doing a wrestling card, you not only have to worry. Like, dude, there was, I think, 20 different people on our last show that I had to kind of worry about sticking someplace else. And if I have to like spend my time on promoting just one person, how am I going to have enough time? You know, if I have 20 guys that I have to try to fulfill to and do something to try to make that happen, how am I going to be able to just, you know, focus my time on just that one person, man? I'm going to run out of time. So, you know, it's not up to me. It's up to me to get you guys what you need, you know, like have the ring, have the venue, have this and stuff taken care of. But it's up to you guys to try to, you know, I mean, us as a group, basically, but it's more to you guys as to try to bring your fans in, so you put the asses in seats, and we all benefit from that. Yeah.
I don't know too much about ticket pre-sales, because I don't do a whole lot of that. But, like, I know enough about marketing and, like, creating enough hype or buzz, or at least being in somebody's fucking ear enough to be like, hey, this thing's going on. Hey, this thing's going on. You should know about this. So I know for a fact that, like, brought people in, people see what we're doing, people know that, like, fuck. But I would never, I didn't need to ask you, like, to do that shit for me. Like, and what a lot of people need to realize in a lot of cases is self-promotion is the first and foremost, like, the promotion that you have to do. You have a thing that you're doing, you want people to know about it. Nobody's going to know about it unless you tell them.
Yeah.
Right? It's not your job to tell them.
biggest fan.
Yeah, it's not your job to tell them for me. It's not your job to tell them for me. Like, it's up to me. And, like, there's a lot of guys, like, that are learning that, and I'm learning this. This is all a fucking learning process, like, for a lot of us, because I'm green as fuck. Like, still.
Yeah.
I still have so much to learn.
I don't
I still
think
have to
you'll-
learn about, like...
I don't think you'll ever get past that greenness, because even after almost 30 years in, it's like I have to look back and see the people that basically doubted me.
Yeah.
And was like, Hogg, he can't work, he can't do anything. I didn't have to work, bro, because I had the entertainment value.
Yeah.
I was a big fucking midget character that was in bib overhauls and could go out there and get people to love me, man. Just walking through waiting for to come. You seen it?
Yeah.
I mean, I come out to Thank God I'm a Country Boy by John Denver, man. I wait, I mean, you know how the song goes, and you wait. I pop out the curtain, the people go wild, man. It's the big pop. I didn't have to do much, but I was still valuable to what you was doing out there to bring that kind of character out there.
Yeah.
And still, I mean, it's like wherever I go, I mean, like, still, like, people say, oh, this is J.H. Hogg. Yeah. But I still had my haters, people that I was working for that I brought. People come to me. People, I mean, like, I go into a regular local, like a 7-Eleven, or, well, we don't have 7-Eleven, but, Village Pantry or whatever, BP, and it's like, hey, there's Hogg, around showtime. And it's like,
well, when we said we were having you on, I had a few people go, Hogg! Yeah, that's what they said.
I mean, the thing about it is, man, it's the belief. But like I said, man, I feel like I've given enough back, and I won't stop giving as myself. Yeah. I mean, because we still have... we still have a height we can reach.
Oh, yeah.
But as far as the things to do, as far as that gimmick to be in the wrestling promotion, I don't need that anymore, because, like, the promotion's in good hands, and I can do other stuff. Like, I can still figure stuff out, and, like, these guys...
It's constant growth. Things
change.
Yeah,
exactly.
We all know. I mean, and it's great. It's great. You guys, there's a lot of great things going on with AACW. I'm excited for you guys' new season. I'm excited to see what you guys can bring. These storylines have been amazing. Like, I've really enjoyed it. And I enjoyed watching Christian Cash wear a luchador mask and jump in the ring and get
right.
That was the funniest thing. He's walking around going, see. I'm like, that's not a Hispanic guy. That's not his. He's not. He's not a Hispanic guy. He's like, see, amigo. I'm like, you're just saying, like. He's like, enchilada, burrito. Like, I'm like, this guy. I knew it was somebody. I was like, who the hell is that? Because he's talking to me like, hey, what's up, Jordan? I'm like, this isn't real. And then he takes the mask. He goes in there, takes the mask off, does the whole thing. And I'm like, that was so fucking cool. I mean, it reminded me of, like, what I loved about wrestling. And what you did with the clown and stomping him out and then bringing the guy in. And you guys you're supposed to love me. Like, why don't you love me? Like, I'm your... To me, having guys that do that type of stuff is important. And having somebody like you to be able to fall back and say, hey, man, what do you think about this? I mean, even the bouncing off ideas, and you've been like, listen, I remember there, and given the history of, like, I remember a guy that did this one time, great pop, do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. So being able to have guys to teach you, having guys run things behind the scenes, even if it's in front, behind, it doesn't matter. Yeah, I mean, you're the backbone of the shit regardless. It doesn't matter. And honestly, it just keeps getting better and better. So.
I mean, the thing about it is, just think, man. If you would come to my promotion, I would restrict your character. I mean, how would that make you feel because you couldn't be yourself? I mean, like, I want the best out of you that it can possibly be, so we can entertain the fans. Yeah. I mean, you got to go to a certain extent. I mean, because we are a family show, we try to do a family-oriented show. But I mean, the thing about it is like, I'm never going to try to restrict your character because I want you to be who you are, because you have to believe in that yourself. Or you got to sell yourself.
What's funny is, like, when this character even started, like, it wasn't supposed to be a character. I was just introduced as a commissioner, and my brain goes, oh, okay.
And
I mean, and it took
and
over
we're
because
here.
you were supposed to be like the higher up. You were supposed to be the guy that was like in charge of stuff.
Yeah.
Because I was stepping down. They were supposed to run through you.
Yeah.
And then instantly after that happened for the first show.
Yes.
And then when you happened on the mic and you started bringing your personality out, then it was like, boom.
Yes.
He's becoming a heel. And I mean, it started progressing like by the second show, you were full blown fucking heel.
Yeah.
100% over. Now, I mean, it's like, now we have, it's like, now I'm not for sure that, like, I don't know, but like, you're moving to a category where, like we may have to take you out of like the leadership of the business and let you focus more on managerial part of stuff because of the fact that like you're growing and the growth for you is like I don't think that people would want to see you in charge of shit because you're fucking evil, man.
I know.
And I mean, it's like, but the thing about it is I love it because like every part about it to see the growth that you've come from where you was, because literally when I ask you, hey, would you be interested in doing this? You're like, sure, no problem. And you set everything together. And then when it started working out to where you started, putting that character in with being able to be an in-ring performer,
Yeah.
then it kind of like, okay, everybody hated you.
Yeah.
So that's why, when you're on the mic, that's why, at the last show I cut you off and I said, yo, they don't want to hear you anymore. Get the hell back to the back. I mean,
it's going to be fun.
I mean, the thing about it is, a lot of
people don't know what they want and they don't know what they need.
A lot of people be maybe like, oh, Hog, well, you just killed every part of our business by talking about shit behind the scenes. No, it doesn't.
No.
Because your average wrestling fan is not stupid. We all understand what's going on. I mean, we all pretty much look the same.
And the ones that are crazy rabid fans, they want to hear this stuff because they want to know.
Yeah.
They want to know
and everybody hits me with the wrestling's fake because I just had this conversation with a guy the other day. The guy that was coming to change my mom's hot water heater. He's like, oh yeah. I said we just I just closed down a wrestling promotion for the year. He's like, oh yeah. You mean like the fake stuff? I'm like, whoa, back up, Jack. No fake. I mean, I'll give you, it's not fake because guys go in there and bust their ass to entertain and they get hurt. They walk out with injuries.
I know, my guy couldn't even kick a kickball because of getting hurt in the ring.
And some of the spills that he took on the end that he does, and I mean, it's like, I'm looking to myself thinking, oh my God, man, is he okay? And waiting to like look at it, it's like, okay, but no, we're staged, premeditated to know what's going on in certain
sports
instances.
Entertainment.
But with me, you know how I am. I'm kind of like a fair dude. Like a lot of times, have I not said, people's like, who wins? I don't know, flip a coin.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how we go about it. I mean, like, I don't, like, unless if it's a major storyline that we're trying to tell a story.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't give everybody storylines.
No.
I mean, you gotta, like, he was in a big major storyline. With the clown, and then it was with the clown. But at the end of the season, his story converted into the major storyline that we had with the basic guys because now he's created the gold standard.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and to be like with the gold standard moving forward, I feel. You have to be taken away from power and just focus on trying to get those guys to the top.
I mean, your boys are going to have to take power away from you if they really want it. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, as to one, we'll figure it out. But, I mean, it's just...
This is all just to let you guys know they're introducing a new commissioner. I'll be there. I'm just kidding. Take over your role.
I mean, that could be a possibility.
That'd be cool. You guys got some great people. I'm just playing around. I'm just always trying to get I'll come through. That'd be a great rivalry, Jordan versus Jordan.
It could be a. I mean, there's a lot of possibilities.
I want to get buff.
But like I said, everybody's like, "Oh, shut up, Shane! Shut up! You're giving the secrets to the business away." No, it's not, man.
No, it's great.
This is real. This is real talk. This is real shit, man. Yeah. I mean, like I started like Christian Cash, aka myself, had a podcast that we was doing, and we called it Real Talk.
Yeah.
So basically what it was Christian come in one day and he just started firing out, boom, 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 talking about people. And it's like, that's when I was like, hey, fuck it, man. Let's just name this podcast Real Talk, which we basically stirred away from it a little bit. But, it was an AACW Real Talk, which hopefully I find the right platform.
Yeah. And
do when I, start bringing in the podcasting 100%, I'm going to go back to that and bring people on. It's just it's 100% on coming in and try to air out your talk to me and air out. Let's just put everything up there and talk as people. Whether you've got something that you want to like spill the dirt on.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, you know, I give a little story
bit of
about
tea,
little DC this today, and then, you know, we had one about Ric Flair, which I seen, which, you know, we talked about off camera, about Ric Flair talking about the WWE. They paid somebody cocaine and $500 one day to perform, and Ric Flair's got a podcast right now. I haven't checked it out, but I'm willing to follow that out because, you know, I mean,
saying,
and like,
if I got paid $500 and cocaine,
that seems like $200.
But the dude, the thing that's screwed up, the thing that's got me, man, about this whole situation is everything that WWE or everything Ric Flair done for the wrestling business, and the Dark Side of the Ring come out and they put it out there to the Dark Side of the Ring, which if you watch Heels on Stars, they actually put that part into one of their with their character where he was on the plane swinging his helicopter.
Yeah.
They actually put that famous thing on one of their episodes.
One of these helicopters.
That part.
And so the thing about it is, for Ric Flair, for his whole wrestling for everything he does, his wrestling legacy, to be wiped away from the WWE
they're trying to cancel Abe Lincoln, bro. Like
and I mean,
the thing is, people nowadays are crazy.
I mean,
they're trying to cancel Abe Lincoln, baby.
But the thing about it is, you know,
I really like black people. I'm just saying.
Can you imagine?
For the time, you liked them a lot compared to most people.
I mean, before that vote.
Can you imagine those podcasts that Ric Flair's ready to spill the dirt on the WWE and everything that goes on?
Woo! I don't know it. I'm afraid for that because I don't know if Ric Flair needs to do that. Ric Flair doesn't need to throw anyone under the bus.
But it's kind of anger though,
but
man.
I hope it is therapy for him.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people now that when they get, you know, like with all the releases coming from WWE, they're coming on Twitter and they're airing out their problems because, especially like the one Frankie, whatever, John Morrison's.
Oh, Frankie Midnight.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Frankie.
Kaya Valkyrie.
Yes. She's coming on talking about everything, and, you know, I mean, she's basically sour about everything, you know, that went on. Well,
they should.
You know that what you need to do when you're there is take that time that you get. I mean, if anybody hasn't seen the video that Rockstar Spud done,
that was amazing.
Check out that video, watch that video, because that is completely exactly 100% of what goes on in this business. Yeah. You are there for a little bit of time, and if you can't benefit and praise them for what they've done to you and done for you in that business, then, you know, it's on you because you're a shit type of person if you don't thank somebody for what they've done for you for that.
Look, I'm telling you, if I ever made it to there and got cut, thank you. Thank you very much, because my name is already made from that. Would already be made from that, and I'm just going to continue to make my name what Drake Mad.
That's the great thing about independence, man. It's being able to do your own thing, build your own thing, and then incorporate into the big things. And nowadays, there are names that don't even exist on WWE, don't even exist on AEW. There are people that can get asses in the seats, and they don't have to be on there. Yeah. And there are people that have been on there that help you get asses in the seat because they just do a drive-by. Yeah. You know, a drive-by for the show or whatever. Yeah. I've seen that a lot. I mean, it's all good stuff, and it's all coming.
Wrestling's great, but people rag on like WWE cutting people and people losing jobs, but they're actually doing something great for the wrestling.
And
market.
they're also benefiting
they're people with talent.
They're benefiting the talent. They're benefiting the talent because the talent aren't getting what they need to get at WWE. They're going to go someplace else and get it.
No, it's McDonald's. WWE is McDonald's.
Bro,
I mean, we all know.
Look exactly at Ruby Riott, what she done. Look Ruby Riott, Ruby Soho now. Yeah. And when she comes back to Indiana. Look at the love she got from Indiana when they were here the other night.
Because you're home.
You know?
Coming out with Billy Rock and wrestling Charlie Cruel. That's all given back in so much. And plus that dark show was all Indiana and all like Midwest.
I mean, you had Sean Cook, I believe, on that show. And, you know, I mean, I don't know really some of the other ones. But I really don't follow AEW's product that much because it's on Wednesdays and, you know, it's Wednesdays and Fridays, which makes it a little bit difficult. And their pay-per-views, man, it's so much, like, you know, I mean, pay-per-view, like 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks
they need their own network.
You know, I mean, it's like, but eventually, you know, I mean, these stars that are getting cut from WWE, don't go out and bash them. No. Praise them for what they done for you because you're going to get that glory someplace else.
Go out, praise them, get yourself on fucking IWTV, get yourself on somewhere on Fight TV, keep getting your name out there, sell your merch, keep moving your fucking product.
The podcasts have proved that you can build your own You can build your own client base without needing a large network.
Yes,
you know,
you can.
NBC. I mean, YouTube has proven that you don't need NBC. You don't need Fox. You don't need ABC.
No.
You can build your own thing. Find your crowd, your people, build it, and then you won't have to worry about being a part of WWE or worried about being part of
get
AEW.
your
You build
people. You get your
own thing.
people 100% behind you.
Yeah.
You know, and they're going to do.
Direct to
It's
consumer.
going to go directly. I mean, because nobody. I would have never thought when Christian Cash started that we would be on Amazon Prime now with Canary Currency.
Yeah.
You know, and
crazy.
then, you know, with Brody, I mean, Brody Bodkins, you know, I mean, Brody, I was actually, and I say this because, like, I don't think I really touched on the point that Brody would be plugged into, like, matches that really didn't mean anything. But, like, I put him in the biggest major storyline, and look at where it went to. Look at the matches that he brought up. I mean, it brought him to being on Shooting with Shane podcast, and Shane's love for Brody now goes far, and you know, I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, shout out to SWS, love you, brother. And then
Gotta get Jordan on there.
like,
Gotta get Jordan on there before August. Come on, man, let's make that
yeah,
happen.
well,
See you
I
in
mean,
August.
he's
Too long.
He's promised me another spot on there, so where we can actually continue some of our of our actual, you know, as you guys see, I love to talk, but but like I said, man, it's you know, I mean, Brody's a guy that you could base a wrestling organization around, just like, you know, I mean, with Travis Southern. Travis done some wonderful things for me this year, being the longest reigning AACW champion, and you know, dethroning Justin Terrell for his third championship by winning the title back. And you know, I mean, it's just like a lot of these guys, man. If you are an independent guy, don't give up. Continue to work. Continue to promote yourself. Continue to promote yourself, and also understand that you should be in control of your gimmick. And if you don't have somebody that believes. If you don't have somebody that has the belief and give you the opportunity,
force them.
You know, I mean, make them want to
That's the
put you
thing.
in that
Direct
situation.
to consumer means that you force, like let's say, like if you are doing a show, and 50% of the people in there want to see this guy. Let's say X wrestler X has 50% of the people there to see him. He's going to force you as the promoter, like as the guy who's in charge of the thing, to say, you know what? There's something to this guy. I need to elevate him in my show because everybody's here to see them. That's what direct to consumer is. You are in control of your fans. You build your own thing, and then it makes it easy for this guy because he sees. He's like, I'm literally. Like with what you're doing with your own videos, you're out there making your own storyline.
We start the show out. This last show, we start the show out, and then we get the theme song going. We get the national anthem going.
Yeah.
There's kind of a pause. His first words out of the man, and it was like the awe, and they wanted, it's like they wanted it, but yet they didn't. I mean, it broke it open.
This guy again.
This guy, we need to shut this guy up.
They love.
So I mean, the thing about it is, it's like I'm a firm believer, and I'll always do this. And whether I've got a lot of haters out there, and I mean, it's like, I mean, if you're doing something right to a certain extent, you're going to have haters.
Oh yeah.
Because
it's a big part of it.
I mean, the thing about it is like I said, I'm very humble, and I appreciate everything that the guys in the locker room done for me this past year. And basically, it's not to shed light or to downgrade anything that the guys previous in the history of AACW done. We're all a group. We all build this ship together. We all sell this ship together.
Yeah,
absolutely. And we all benefit, and we will all benefit. Once we get to that point. We'll all share the wealth.
Yep.
That's the way it is, man. That's the way you got to
sharing the wealth is probably the most important thing. I think that's the best way to end this podcast is as a group and sharing the wealth and making sure everybody has a chance to be a part of it. It's not. There's no machine is one piece. It's the sum of the parts.
Yes.
And that's in a cog in a machine that's running like AACW is right now. If you don't have every little piece running perfectly, the show doesn't look as good as it does. So it's good. I mean, there's so many pieces apart. I'm so happy to have you on, Shane. Thank you for coming on here.
Appreciate it.
Man, I appreciate you. It's nice. Like I've kind of met you a little bit from the shows, but it's nice to really meet you. So I've seen you a lot, but it's nice having you here. We'll have you on again, man. We'll talk some more. Let's get a venue. We'll have you on again. I'm Jordan Granger, and as always, I'm joined by
Jordan Bell.
And today we had a special guest,
Shane Cowsert.
Thank you guys for tuning in. We love you guys. 2 kisses.
Woo!
Peace.
Hey, what up? you just listened to the podcast. Thanks for putting up with us for the last, hour or so. Really appreciate that. You can find us on all major podcast platforms. You can find this guy on a lot of different shit. You can also find us on Facebook, Twitter, some Instagram shit, whatever. Also, buy our merch. Can I grab you consensually? Buy our merch. Hey, we didn't talk about Kyle Rittenhouse. Yay.